legends. We are here for you.
Aggressively pursuing
victory over injury.
Learn more at andrewsportsmedicine.com.
It's time.
You know what time it is?
Game for Tuscaloosa's longest running sports show.
The biggest goal of our team,
especially in the first half,
we at Bama, we're trying to be the best.
Always is to win a national championship.
Something cool to look back on.
We don't want to waste a failure.
You're inside the game.
John Mechie on the ground.
Appreciate your interest in the game.
On your home for Alabama sports.
Alabama wins.
Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. Powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota. Now, here's your award-winning host, Ryan Fowler.
In 1997, Alabama went 4-7. In 1998, they went 7-5. They went 10-3, 3-8, 7-5, 10-3, 4-9, 6-6 in 2004, 10-2, 6-7 in 2006. Little did they know that Nick Saban would arrive at the capstone 7-6. When you look at that first record, 12-2, 14-0, 10-3. 12-1, 13-1, 11-2, 12-2, 14-1, 14-1, 13-1, 14-1, 11-2, 13-0, undefeated national championship in 2020, 13-2, 11-2, 12-2, and then Alabama had to say goodbye to Nick Saban when he retired. Today, we celebrate Nick Saban, and we will today. We will honor him when you think about it. Listen, we did this throughout the offseason, so it almost feels a little bit repetitive, but I think we'll do this just like we do with Coach Paul Bear Bryant. Coach Paul Bear Bryant was born on September the 11th, and I know that corresponds with a holiday that, I say a holiday, it's a remembrance day that we stop with what happened, but when you look at October the 31st, we will probably forever, as long as I'm doing this radio show, that we'll stop and appreciate, because what Nick Saban was able to do to my alma mater, the team that I grew up rooting for, he flipped the script. Because many that don't understand, let's say you jumped on board after the third national title. We do have a lot of new Alabama fans. We have a lot of new students. We have, 45,000? So the fan base has grown, and we welcome each and every one of you. I just don't know if you have the true appreciation. You think Alabama's always been kicking butts and taking names, and they have. But we also went through a rut. We went through a valley. We went through a little bit of a problem, and Nick Saban came in. We had been hit by the NCAA. That's why I celebrate when I want to be the one that locks the door and puts out of business on the front of the NCAA sign. That's my goal, okay? I want to be that guy, or at least I want to be there when they do it. Because the NCAA is sliding. They no longer do what they say they're able to do. If you have to cut a commercial and tell me that you're for student athletes, are you for student athletes? No, you're really not when you have to cut a commercial. But you look at the NCAA, Nick Saban flipped the script on the University of Alabama. And I don't know, there's many people that may agree with me or disagree with me. But I think if you'd have went through one more bad hire, I don't know where this university would be. I can tell you they wouldn't have won 6 national titles and 9 SEC titles and created all these All-Americans. I mean, when you start looking at the credentials of what Nick Saban was able to give this university, it's only fair that we stop just a minute and pause and think about and appreciate 6 national titles, 9 SEC titles, 4 Heisman winners. I mean, Alabama never had a Heisman winner. I mean, that's hard to even chew on. As many great players, 76 first-team All-Americans, 47 of those were either consensus or unanimous. 133 draft picks, 47 of those were first rounds. He did something that many of us, we think we appreciated, but it will not be truly appreciated for 10, 15, 20 years down the road. We'll look back and we'll say he did what in a 17-year period. That's one of the things that we'll talk about today. We're always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com, 3325 Skyline Boulevard, and online at TuscaloosaToyota.com. We're going to play some Nick Saban rants, and we're going to sit around and listen to some good audio clips, and we'll have some fun with it as we travel onward. But if you are thinking about that, buy 3 tires, get that 4th tire for only $1, that deal is set to expire at the end of the day. So if you're trying to save some money, how about a Tacoma? You can find it as low as 3.49, as low as 1.99 on the Tundra, 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, and plus a $2,000 loyalty cash. Happy Halloween out there to you guys. We're going to talk a little candy as well. So I'm going to ask you 2 questions. We can talk about a lot of different things, and I got a lot of things that I want to talk about. We've got Dave Bartu coming up at 2:15. Dave's going to be a part of our show. At 3 o'clock, we'll talk to Bruce Marshall. He's a handicapper. And then at Brad Powers will join us at 4 o'clock. We're going to break down a lot of college football, talk about maybe some of the things that could really help Alabama out. We'll do that. But also today, I want to play a little along, okay? I'm just curious. Chase, do you have a favorite candy bar? I mean, do you have a favorite? You could do a seasonal Halloween candy.
Okay.
But I'm curious. Do you have a favorite candy bar?
I do. I'm a big fan of Hershey. Give me a big Hershey bar, the big one. Don't give me like the regular. Give me a big one. I love chocolate.
Okay. Nothing wrong. No, I listen, I all of the above. You know, like I asked Kalen DeBoer back at SEC Media Days, I said, what's your favorite snack food? He said, ice cream. I said, what flavor? He goes, any and all. Any and all. Yeah, I mean, that's what I answer. I would give you with candy, any and all. But above everything, a Snickers bar. Okay, a Snickers bar is just my go-to. So, you know, for Halloween, Chase, you'll appreciate this. You get married one of these days, your wife gets on to you for bringing home sweets, okay? She will. This is an excuse. Halloween is an excuse. You go to the grocery store, you get one of those gigantic bags of candy, knowing that, you know, we live in the country. We're probably going to have half a dozen, maybe a few more trick-or-treaters. We're not going to have very many, okay? Where we live at, sometimes the neighbors' kids will swing by and get a piece of candy because it's just not a smart move to go in our neighborhood. We live in a neighborhood that has they're big lots. Like I've got the smallest lot, and I think I'm about 4.5 acres, okay? Everybody else has got 6 to 8. So strategically, if you walked our neighborhood, and we do live in a circle, if you walk that, you'd burn more calories trying to get to the door. So you go up to the Towns or North River, hit one of those high density places where you can knock out a bunch of houses. I mean, you come to our neighborhood, you'll get candy, but you're going to have to walk a little bit. You're going to have to put a few miles in. So Snickers bars is my go-to. I went and bought a big old bag of Snickers bar candies, went down to the membership store here on Scotland Boulevard. They don't buy advertising, but Sam's. Went down, bought a big bag of candy and said, all right, that's what I'm going to do. For that, I'll save 10 back here. But after today, that candy's mine, right? I mean, so I got bids on it right there. So, Chase, I appreciate it. So Hershey's bar for you. Jackson, you got a favorite candy bar? You got a favorite candy bar, Jackson?
I'm not a big candy bar guy, but I like me some Swedish Fish. I like the taffy kind of candy.
Okay.
More. I can't do chocolate.
You said Swedish Fish. I was like, is that a candy bar? I mean,
they're like gummies.
Swedish Fish? I don't even know if I want to Google this.
You definitely know what they are.
Okay, hold on. I'm a Swedish Fish? Okay, I thought you were I didn't know. I thought you might be trying to go vulgar on me or something. Swedish Fish? Are you kidding? That's your favorite candy bar, Jackson? You got to live a little, brother.
Or Sour Patch Kids. I like me some Sour Patch Kids.
Okay, I mean, I get that, but I mean...
I don't like chocolate.
You may be the only guy in America that doesn't... I mean, Swedish Fish? I mean...
When you don't like chocolate, your choices are pretty limited.
No, I get that. But Swedish Fish. All right. Well, if anybody... I mean, where do you even get this crap? I mean, I'm looking at it. I've never seen it in a store. Oh, it is?
Yeah, they're all over the place.
Okay.
Well, right before the checkout at a grocery store.
I hope I didn't offend you by making fun of your candy.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Chase has got a better candy bar. I mean, Swedish Fish. Swedish Fish.
I like caramel things, though. Those.
Okay. So I can go there.
I can handle a Twix every now and then.
Okay. But you really don't like chocolate? What's wrong with you? Okay, well, you can save it for Chase and I.
I can't do peanut butter either.
It's no big deal. No big deal. Okay. All right. Snickers bars where I'm going to. And if you said, okay, we're out of Snickers bars, where would you go? Reese's Cup. I mean, I love Reese's Cups. Those are good. But I got a big bag at the house. And
my dad loves Reese's too.
What I'll do is, see, Chase, I'm telling you, this is a trick now. I've been married for 20-something years, 20, going on 26 years. Okay. You cut the light out where the kids don't feel welcome, and then you get more candy. See, that's because it's not about you gathering candy; it's about how much you're giving away. See, I'm just teaching you guys some tricks, man. I'm just showing you.
So you're telling us how we can keep a little extra for ourselves?
No, you buy a big bag. I went down to Sam's. I bought the biggest bag of Snickers bars I could possibly buy, and see, the wife can't get on to you because you're saying you're just preparing for trick or treaters. Anyway. Back.
I never liked the houses that only did like one big bowl of one candy.
Yeah, and don't be the guy that gives peppermint. Okay, I mean you give peppermint, eggs are going to be flying. I'm telling you, man. Those eggs will be flying at your house. Your house.
Butterscotch.
See, I like that. I wouldn't mind a butterscotch. I mean, the butterscotch is good. Okay. All right. So today we'll share a favorite Nick Saban story, right? A little favorite Nick Saban memory of his 17 days here in Tuscaloosa. If you're Digger down in Louisiana, you can share a day from LSU if you'd like. He's a big LSU guy, I think. I think he pulls for.
He likes the Tigers.
He
right?
does. He does. And so let him share a story from LSU days. We'll talk to Dave Bartoo. Dave's got some strong comments, man. We're going to talk with him. He said he's not going to butter us up like some of the other guests. Bruce Marshall at 3, Brad Powers at 4 o'clock. We'll take your calls, and we'll also take your tweets. Remember to download the Tide 100.9 app. It's a free download, Android, iPhone, Google Play. Listing devices, you can simply enable the Tide 100.9 skill, 1230 WTBC. We're going to Dave Bartoo, Bruce Marshall, and Brad.
You can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Increasingly cloudy, the chance of a few showers around here late this afternoon and tonight. The high today 80, tonight's low 65. For tomorrow, a mixture of clouds and sunshine. A few scattered showers are possible. The high 79. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 82 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
You're inside the game on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight, for my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the monster mash. It was a beast to the master bedroom where the vampires.
All right, we welcome you right back into the game. It's Rumsey Environmental. It's a one-stop shop serving West Alabama for all of your waste removal needs. When you have to take the garbage out, you never know. I mean, somebody may be considered garbage. I think someone called us garbage a couple days ago. So Rumsey Environmental, they're taking the garbage out, okay? The environmental services that serve our community. Rumsey Environmental, 205-248-0002, 205-248-0002. Right now, we are going to Dave Bartoo. Dave Bartoo, we generally visit, try to about once a month. We did it in September, and now we're going to do it here on the final day of October. Dave Bartoo, CFBmatrix.com. Dave, I hope all is well. Welcome back to Tuscaloosa.
Dude, all is great. Coaching carousel is absolutely on fire right now. So NFL and college football. So that's taken up a big bulk of my time.
As it should. Now, before we get started, everybody that calls in today, guest or caller, we're going to ask you your favorite candy bar. What is it?
Favorite candy bar?
Yeah, it's Halloween, man. Halloween.
Oh, dude, there's just.
All right,
dude, this is like the worst week of the year. Okay.
So I'm gonna pick on the producer here for just a minute, okay? Dave Bartoo, have you ever heard of Swedish Fish?
Yeah.
You have? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
you covered Jackson. I'd never heard of it until he said it. So
I've heard of it, but that's not even a candy bar. That's just not even.
Jackson doesn't like chocolate. He's an un-American.
He's what?
He's
like
not
chocolate?
American. Yeah, he doesn't like chocolate. I mean,
gosh, he probably hates puppies and rainbows and winning touchdowns too. Good Lord.
Jackson's good.
I can't. I can't do chocolate. I just can't. But I'm still an American.
Okay. Well, we'll check your identification card later. But so, what's your favorite candy bar? I mean, do you have a favorite candy bar?
I'm not picky. You know something? If I had to You know me. I like thinking outside the box. I actually like when the kids were little. I would pick through their pillowcases, and I would take every $100,000 out of there. They lost all of them.
Okay.
So secretly, I really like those. It's a once a year thing, right? But
sure.
Yeah, that's good. That's the one I always took out of their bag.
Okay. All right. Dave, before we dive into Alabama, anything that you could summarize with the world of college football? I mean, I know there's a lot, but just your biggest takeaway is we're now 2 months into the season, or we'll be closing out this, today, 2 months into the season. What's been your biggest takeaway?
I think so far for me, the biggest takeaway is, again, kind of like last year, the lack of impact the transfer portal is having overall on college football. Overall, I think people get caught up with selection bias, right? They look at a Cam Ward at Miami, go, "Oh, look, he transferred. Look what he did," right? But for every good quarterback, there's 2 crappy ones, right? And a lot of these transfer portal guys, depending on where they're coming from, we're a year and a half in. We've started getting analytics on who to go after, who not to, and athleticism numbers. But over the last 2 years in the Power 4, Power 5 last year, Power 4 this year, head-to-head, the better high school recruiter in the last 18 months has won 73% of all the football games. It doesn't matter about attrition. It doesn't matter about the transfer portal. It doesn't matter about where the game is played. Head-to-head, Power 4, 73% just off high school recruiting numbers. And it doesn't surprise us because in the NFL, the use of free agency, the portal, is bad. Okay? The more you use free agency in the NFL, the more you lose. It is almost linear. We are seeing the same thing in college football. So I'll say this to you. I'll say this to everybody listening. Do not get your false hopes up on rebuilding through the portal. It will get you.
Almost the way that you're saying that reminds me of the junior college. You know, back 25, 30 years ago, you'd go the junior college route if you really needed a Band-Aid. But if you didn't need a Band-Aid, it's better to take that player and pour into the development side of things. But but the portal is a little different with a place like Tuscaloosa because when you have a head coach, you really don't have a choice, right? For 30 days, people get a chance to pick apart your roster. Yeah. You have to go and replenish that stock somewhere.
A little bit, but you can't do it too much because now you got a pig rolling through the python, right? Look at Ole Miss. They're going to lose 41 guys next year. 41. Half of their roster's gone. So you don't have player continuity, you know, and so I think it's just, I know you have to rebuild, and it's tough for the fans because they look at a couple of teams that maybe were successful in the portal temporarily, Michigan State, Florida State. But those things come home to roost, and so there's a really big balance in there. I think one of the advantages that Alabama has is every guy that you're pulling out of the portal, they're a transfer up, right? They're going to a place where they want to be, where they're striving to be. They're not transferring down. You know, guys coming from Alabama, I'd avoid all of them. Wouldn't go near them, right? Because you know, emotionally, it's like, oh, I'm going from Alabama down to South Alabama. It's not quite nice here, right? What's the motivation? So I think one of the advantages y'all have in the portal is people want to go there and they want to prove themselves, unlike guys who transfer down to other programs.
All right, let's bring it back down to Alabama. Your biggest takeaway from the University of Alabama as you've seen them navigate 6-2 in the first 8 games.
Oh, the schedule's brutal, man. I mean, that's one of my big takeaways is it's much tougher than I really anticipated it would be. And you look at through 9 weeks, you know, you're 7th in offensive scoring efficiency, but you have faced the 27th toughest defensive profile. Okay. Look at Indiana. They're 4th in offensive scoring efficiency. They face the 103rd toughest defensive profile. 2 totally different things. Alabama on defense, 9th in the country. They have faced the 61st toughest offensive profile. And you look at some of these other teams, Tennessee 3rd. Yeah, they got a great defense, 119th on offense faced. Right? So I think for Alabama, the schedule is as tough or tougher than we expected. And, overall 7th in the country in overall scoring efficiency. It's just what's brutal is that Vanderbilt game, man. That is a dead albatross hanging around the neck right now.
Yeah, and it is a lot of things to think about. But when you look at this Alabama football team from a coaching perspective, where are you?
Mm-hmm. Oh, no difference than at the beginning of the year. This is an excellent staff. But things don't gel in 7 games, right? I mean, I know people want it to just continue on forever, but that's an impossible task. Even Nick can't replace Nick because of the new environment, the free agency. You can't go on these, dynasty runs, I don't believe anymore, because the depth just isn't going to be there. People are going to get stolen left and right. So staff-wise, my opinion hasn't changed. I still say you have an excellent head coach. I think the staff overall is very good. I think the weakness is with Nick Sheridan calling plays, but he has Kalen backing him up. So there's places you could possibly improve. I think the biggest one is going forward might be the schedule. You're going to have coaching continuity going forward. That's going to get better. But I think part of it, too, is how the schedule is going to fall out, especially when you guys start going to 9 games. Man, that is going to be really tough because one of the things I'm seeing all over the place, Ryan, is trap games in the SEC. Now that you brought in Oklahoma and Texas, I think you're seeing a lot of teams looking forward to too many big games. And the weekend before, look at Ole Miss. They're going to Arkansas. They got Georgia coming up. I'll take Arkansas on the points because there's just trap games everywhere. So I think a lot of it has to do with the scheduling going forward as well.
So when you look at navigating this first year, 6-2, he's got a chance to beat every first-year head coach in the University of Alabama history. He's got a chance. Yeah. Now, I don't know if and we'll get into this LSU-Alabama game, but it feels like that's the toughest game on the road. Oklahoma is 2 weeks after that. You've got Mercer here. That's a pretty winnable football game. Should be a huge favorite. If you don't win that, you really got some problems. And then you go to Oklahoma, and then you got Auburn coming here. Can they navigate this trip to the college football playoff in year number 1?
Can they navigate the schedule and win out? Yes. Can they get to the playoff? I think you're in a bit of trouble right now, man. I think you're in a really bit of trouble.
Even with winning out?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Even with winning out. Alabama fans right now, besides being an Alabama fan, you are a tremendous Vanderbilt fan. You are a tremendous Vanderbilt fan. Because right now, that Vanderbilt loss is not a bad loss. Okay? It's not a loss to a team that is 500 or less. If Vanderbilt finishes at 6-6 or 5-7, if they lose out, or if they go 6-6, now you have a bad loss on your resume. That's the equivalent of a second loss. Okay, that's the equivalent of having 3 losses instead of 2. And I know people listening are like that sounds crazy, but look, we've been doing the math on playoff committee behavior better than anybody for the last decade. Period. And they don't change their behavior. We have been extraordinarily right on these things. And right now with Alabama, your biggest issue is that extra loss, that Vanderbilt loss. Right? If you take away, I have our rankings right now. We've got the math done early, and I have them right in front of me. And if Alabama doesn't lose that game to Vanderbilt, if the playoff committee came out right now with rankings, I would tell you Alabama's number 2. Before they even say it, they're number 2 because their numbers are outside of Oregon. Alabama's numbers are outstanding. You're talking about the number 6 strength of schedule. They have 5 quality wins. That's more than anybody in the country. They have 2 wins over top 25 teams. That's tied for the most in the country. Their game control factor is as good as Oregon, but they're not at number 2 in our rankings, in our calculations, because of that Vanderbilt loss. Instead, they're at 15, and everybody above them, they don't play any of them the rest of the season. They really don't control their destiny.
You know what? I did make that argument earlier this week, but as the weeks progressed, I've almost kind of grown confidence in 10-2. But you know what? Maybe you're right.
Well, let me give you a little history on 10-2 and 10-3, right? Because coming into the season, I heard so many people that were confident that all you got to do is get to 10 wins and you're in. That's wrong. That's wrong. Now, I wouldn't be so confident if I knew the playoff committee ranking system had changed, but they have said it's not changed at all. So I am extraordinarily confident in 10-2 and 10-3 does not automatically get you in. In fact, in the last 10 years, 15 times a Power 4 team has had 10 wins on their resume. 10 wins. 15 times they were outside the top 12. You're not in. I'll give you one right now. Missouri can win out. They're not getting in. They can go 10-2. They are not getting in. They do not have the schedule for it. They do not have the margin of victory. They certainly don't have the margin of loss. So there's an example right there. I do not believe for a second they're in without an unbelievable cataclysm of losses ahead of them. So anybody listening, I don't care what team you are, I don't buy if the brand is 10-2, they're getting in. No, the committee has gone by the resume every single year, and I have the math to back all of it up in every single ranking. So back to Alabama, 10-2. I think you're riding the 11, 12, 13 line if big things don't happen in front of you.
We are talking right now to Dave Bartoo. We're talking about CFB Matrix. He's an analytics guy, he's co-founder of CFB Analytical. Dave, didn't you guys evaluate officials at one point?
Oh, yeah. Oh, we have an official history. Dude, there's a crew in the Big Ten. If you blindly bet every single game that they officiate for the last 9 years, the underdog covers 64% of the time. Blind bet them, right? And what's funny is they're considered an awesome crew. And you know my hypothesis, Ryan? It's because they make all their games close. People go, oh, Ryan's crew is officiating this game. They're good. It's going to be a good game. Yeah. You can use flags to manipulate football. I could show you. I could show you exactly how you can use a flag to manipulate game outcome. And all ref crews, they're not similar. And they do different things on the road, and they do different things at home. And they cater to underdogs and favorites. You just got to know their behavior.
Right now, and you think about it and I'm going to throw something against the wall. Nick Saban, by the way, it's his birthday today, and we're kind of thinking about favorite memories of Nick Saban and kind of honoring his legacy here at the University of Alabama. We'll probably do it every year, and we have even when he was here. But I almost think sometimes Kalen DeBoer, now when some of the officials are calling the right way, and Alabama's made plenty of mistakes, and when you become that trend. And as a team, it makes a lot of mistakes. They're one of the most penalized teams in the country. But I also think sometimes you might be getting a little bit of Saban sins. You're having to pay for his because he worked the officials probably more than any coach I've ever seen. I mean, he would. Dave?
Yep.
I'm on the sidelines, and I want to stick like earplugs in my ear because I'm like, whoa. You know, I mean, he would say things to officials, and I'm like, coach, you're not going to get a birthday card. I can promise you. So it's almost like Kalen DeBoer is probably paying for some sins of Nick Saban.
It could be, right? I mean, it could be because that's the human element. I think the officiating crew human element far exceeds the fan and the stadium element, the home field element. I think the crew controls so much of a football game that you don't realize. And I don't even think they realize it. I think it's human part of it. It's subconscious. They don't realize they're doing it. I'll tell you what, this is one of the things that I tell every single one of my head coaches that I work with. Okay. When you are arguing the makeup call, which they exist, okay, when you're arguing the makeup call, you want that makeup call to go against your opponent on the defense. A judgment call against the defense from an expected point averaging event, the call on the defense is 3 times more likely to produce a score than a call against the opposition offense. So when you're arguing that, so if anybody in Alabama happens to be listening to this, and I have all the numbers to back it up, all you got to do is call me. But I want to see Kalen arguing the makeup call against the opposition defense because it is so much more valuable than getting it on the offensive side.
Okay. Never really thought about that.
Yeah, and that's the kind of stuff we track, though, right? Trying to find the edge. And that's part of offensive, defensive flag behavior is finding an edge in what they do.
Dave, I want to go back real quick because you were talking about coaches a couple of minutes ago. Right now, we're talking with Dave Bartoo. Do you calculate, because you look at Kane Wommack, okay, for a minute.
Sure.
And we could draw some questions and we could create some questions, but we also have to factor in that is a young secondary. When I say young, they're starting a minimum of 2 freshmen back there. Some games they're starting 3 freshmen back there in different formations. Do you calculate that in?
Not in the age, right? Because over time everybody's going to have a young defense, right? I mean, that's one of the big reasons why we don't give full grades on coordinators till after 4 years. We want them to see them cycle through a bunch of guys, through quarterbacks, through the young guys, the old guys, the transfers, and so forth. So we don't really want to pick apart any one year, but inside of a year, we might say, okay, here's where Kane ranks. And then you can look at it and go, well, I know Alabama football, and that's a really good ranking considering we had a bunch of 18-year-olds in our secondary, right? We don't go that deep because we're dealing with 134 teams and 11 guys on the field for every team. When you grade all these guys every year for 20 years, that's the minutia we don't go into. But certainly from your standpoint, you look at it and go, okay, right now we're the number 9 scoring efficiency defense. We face the 61st toughest offensive profile in the country. And believe me, that's a lot harder path than most teams that are out there. And you have all of this youth. So as much as you want to win every single year in and year out, part of the promise is, okay, we have a really good defense and it's very young on the back end. So you're looking forward to something. The big question now is, what are we doing to keep these young players that are getting part of the program and building it?
Hey, Dave, give me your thoughts on LSU. I know we've already talked about Alabama, but this game's huge. Any thoughts on what Brian Kelly's been able to do in Baton Rouge?
Well, not a surprise. I mean, he was the best guy available when they hired him, and he's a top 20 active head coach. LSU, from LSU, so they're 40th in offensive scoring efficiency, on the 17th toughest defensive profile faced. So offensively, that is their strength. They're not elite, but they're pretty good. Defensively, 65th, but they've faced the 38th toughest offensive profile, and this is a top 5 recruiter. So, LSU is, it's got the profile of a top 25 team because of the talent, but the offense and defensive scoring efficiency profiles, pretty much middle of the road. So, are they ranked right now? They're in the top 25, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they're at 16, so they didn't drop too far.
Okay. And I'm looking also at our top 15 for our playoff projections. So they're not there. I look at these numbers. It's a dangerous opponent because of the talent, but in terms of the quality of the offense and the quality of the defense so far, I think the quality on both sides of the ball is below the talent. So it's a dangerous team that really hasn't figured out how to live up to the potential of what they've recruited. And I don't think they're really great at anything. They're just pretty good at offense and defense, but they're not elite in either one.
Yeah, I predicted when Brian Kelly was hired that he would win a national title just based on talent in 5 years.
Yeah,
I think I'm wrong. I mean, I'm ready to eat crow right now and just say, you know what, I was wrong.
He hasn't figured out the coordinators, right? So he brought in Joe Sloan last year, and he had a good grade, but it wasn't an impressive hire. I mean, he went next man up, and I hate that, especially at like an LSU where you have the money to go buy anybody. There's no salary cap on coaches. So I think Sloan was easy, but he hasn't proven to be elite. So the jury's still out on him. And I know everybody was excited about Blake Baker, but again, not an elite DC, up and coming, but he never really had an elite profile. So, I don't see right now with the current OC and the DC that he has, Kelly is a national championship level head coach. LSU can recruit at a national championship level. The offensive defensive coordinator pairing they have right now, absolutely not. That is not good enough to win a national title. So without changes in the staffing, I would say I don't agree with you within 5 years. He needs to make changes and get better at OC and DC to compete.
And seems like Auburn's kind of crashed and burned over here, even though they got a win against Kentucky. Any thoughts on Hugh Hefner-Freeze?
Oh, you know something? They can't find a quarterback, man.
It's as simple as that, isn't it? I mean, quarterback
right?
driven.
I mean, it's really that simple. Look, the offense in the SEC is terrible this year. You got a bunch of teams outside the top one. Kentucky's outside the top 100 in scoring efficiency. Oklahoma's outside the top 100. They fired their guy. Auburn isn't doing well. Mississippi State's 94th. There's just not a lot of really good offense in the SEC. So defensively, Durkin's hanging in there for Auburn. That's really where they're hanging their hat. But I think Auburn will be fine as long as Hugh finds a quarterback. But we say that about a lot of programs, but I think that's the big detriment right now, that he just has no faith or nobody that can really run the offense there.
Dave Bartoo, CFB Matrix. Dave, if people want to connect with you, how would they do it?
Oh, always the text line. I always love to. I'm a glutton for college football, so if anybody has a question, comment, you name it, I'm an open book, 971-217-8419, or just follow me and message me on Twitter. I'm there too.
It's Dave Bartoo, CFB Matrix. Dave, I appreciate you, man. Have a great rest of your day.
Take it easy, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you. Dave Bartoo, CFBmatrix.com, CFB Matrix on the Twitter account. We always enjoy talking with him. All right, so we're going to go back to phone calls. We got Bruce Marshall. It's a French dip sandwich. You can find that. A club. You know what's better than the club? The double club, the chicken salad, the pimento cheese, the salads, options there. The Nuke's Favorite's one of my favorite. The Ultimate's great. You can find that. Nuke's Eatery, 205 University Boulevard, 205-758-2455. Soup specials as well as the temps hopefully drop in the month of November. Let's take some phone calls at 205-342-9904. Wayne, Northport. Wayne, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
Good afternoon, Ryan. Everything is well.
Good. You got a favorite candy bar?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I'm a Snickers guy.
Okay, you and I would be friends. Okay, good. We already are, but I'm just saying.
We already are. But
yeah.
We would be.
Snickers is good, man. Just it gets you a little pick-me-up, man.
Sometimes you do, but I have to watch it. I can't have as much candy as I used
to. Sure. Yeah, we all have to do that, but...
it's an occasional treat for me.
Okay.
That's the way I do it. I'm eating a lot healthier now, and I've lost a lot of weight, so... I'm happy about that, because before I had my gallbladder out last year, I was way too heavy. And I changed my diet, and I've dropped a lot of pounds.
That's awesome, man.
I'm 92, and now I'm at 155.
You might have to tie an anchor to your feet, Wayne, at some point.
No. I'm stable now.
Okay.
I'm just a little over 5 feet tall. So.
Gotcha.
I'm not that tall, so 155 is a good weight for me.
Okay. All right. Favorite Knicks?
I've been told I'm doing well, so.
Hey, keep up the good work, Wayne. Keep up the good work.
Amen.
All right, so here we go.
Happy birthday to Nick Saban, by the way.
Yeah, that was my question. When you look at favorite memory, you got a favorite memory?
Yeah, the Tin Horn ran after the Georgia Southern game.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a good one.
I won't say what else he said.
No, that was amazing. That one's amazing. So.
Yeah. Georgia Southern was the defending FCS champion that year. It was the defending FBS champion against the defending FCS champion. We beat them 42-21, but they gave us all sorts of heck in that first half.
Yeah.
And it was just an interesting game. But that was my favorite rant from Coach Saban. Now, as far as the basketball is concerned, you said we might talk a little bit about that. I'm really excited that we got a true center now on the team. Clifford Amare from Rutgers.
Big guy.
Transfer. I think that's going to help us a lot because it allows Grant Nelson to go and play the small forward.
He does, yeah, the four. Yeah.
The forward position instead of having to play center and going up against all those centers. So I think it'll help us a lot. And he's always going to have a ton of shooters. But if we've got rebounding ability now, that's going to help us a lot.
Yeah, a lot of excitement. And Monday, I'll be very curious to see the reaction. I know Nate Oates spoke last Friday night at the homecoming concert. And he said, one of the biggest things that I need from the Alabama fans is that help us get off to a fast start. And by doing that, he talked about his love for football. And he said, a couple of weeks ago, there was a video that went out on viral networks, social networks, and went viral with him celebrating Ryan Williams' touchdown pass against Georgia from Jalen Milroe. But he said, I'm a huge football fan. I love to go in Bryant Denny Stadium, just like we'll be tomorrow afternoon, as he was talking about last Friday. He said, but we need to really get off to a fast start from a momentum standpoint, and how we can use that going, it's pretty difficult non-conference schedule.
It's pretty difficult in November and December. It always has been since he's been here. He doesn't duck people. I'll put it that way. We play some teams now. And we're going to have to get off to a fast start if we want to keep that seeding up in the tournament. The higher your seed is in the tournament, the easier your road is. So it's big.
So, man, there's so many different things that we could talk about, but certainly basketball is a big topic. How confident are you in this LSU game?
LSU game, I'm a little bit worried about our secondary against their receivers. But outside of that, I think we'll be ready. I hope we can cut down on the pre-snap penalties, the false starts and the things like that. You're going to have a hold every now and again. You know, that's going to happen, but jumping off sides is something you can't do in an environment like that.
Yeah. Well, and I made this hypothetical. Wayne, Nick Saban worked the officials. One of the great things, he worked everybody, right? But he worked the officials. You almost wonder if we're paying a little bit of that price.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's it was a big hypothetical, but it is something to think about.
Yeah, I think so, but I think a lot of these pre-snap penalties are pretty obvious. And that's the ones that really tick me off. We had 15 total penalties in the Tennessee game, and that resulted in 115 yards. And I know Coach Stallings once said that for every 100 yards you give up in penalties, you give up 7 points.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's the way he looked at it.
Yeah. That's good point.
We lost the game. We lost the Tennessee game by what? 7 points. So that was all those penalties. But just cut that out and we'll be fine.
Thank you.
I don't think we're going to get in at 10-2 unless we get some major help. Because you got to remember, the Group of 5 team now is going to get one of those bids. So when Bartu was talking about we're maybe hovering around that 11 or 12 spot, that may not get you in because somebody below that's going to get one of the 12 spots.
It could because of
There's really only 7 spots for the non-conference champion. There's only 7 of those because 5 of them are going to go to conference champs.
Yeah, the highest rated conference champ. So, Boise State could be a problem. Maybe we could pull for Boise State to lose. I don't know their schedule exactly, but
Army's undefeated too. So if Boise State falls off, Army could get that bid.
They could. But okay. Let's just, but they're not going to go undefeated because if they went undefeated, it would also mean that Notre Dame's got a loss. So then you'd back them out. So that kind of cancel one another out.
Be a help,
and they also have Navy at the end too, so they've got some. And I think the transfer portal
would help get Notre Dame another loss.
It would, because they always love for Notre Dame. Hey Wayne, I got to get to break, man. I appreciate you so much, man.
Okay, man. Always. I didn't mean to run long.
You're fine. You're okay. You're okay, Wayne. I appreciate you, man. I hope you have a great rest of your afternoon.
Hey, man. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Thank you, Wayne in Northport. Bruce Marshall coming up in a few minutes. T-Town Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports. Happy Halloween to you. We're talking about favorite candy bars. We're talking about celebrating Nick Saban's happy birthday, 73 years of age, and the university that he changed here. We're taking your phone calls. We got Bruce Marshall coming up right here. Bruce Marshall is going to join us. We're always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota. TuscaloosaToyota.com, 3325 Skyland Boulevard, and online at TuscaloosaToyota.com. As low as 3.49 APR for 36 on the Tacoma. You can find two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive options. How about the new 2025 Toyota Camry, as low as 3.99? And that Camry actually is getting over 50 miles per gallon. The 2024 RAV4, as low as 3.9 APR. You can find that. Also, rent a Toyota program. You can do that at Tuscaloosa Toyota. And then the final day, today is the final day for buy 3 tires, get that 4 tire for only $1. The reason why we highlight that is, for one, it's a great deal, but it saves you a ton of cash, right? We know how tires and expensive tires can be. Buy 3 tires, get that 4 tire for only $1. We got Bruce Marshall coming up here in just a couple of seconds. We're going to have a chance to go into a lot of different things with him. And we had Dave Bartoo earlier. Dave Bartoo was a guy that we enjoyed kind of throwing around a little bit. We talked a lot about the metrics. We talked a lot about what this Alabama football team needed to accomplish, but then also kind of looked around at college football. He said he didn't really think that it would be an automatic. It's not a lock. It's not a lock. But I think if you win 10-2, you also have to calculate other teams losing too. Whether, you want to take Oregon or you want to take, just randomly pick one of those teams that's in front of Alabama. You could say Tennessee at number 7. You could go through and you could make reasons why they could lose. You could probably even make reasons. Obviously, Texas A&M could lose this weekend. That's why we're going to dive into the conversation with Bruce Marshall. We're going to talk about it. Bruce, I hope all is well. You can find him at Vegas Insider CBS Sportsline HQ. Bruce Marshall, how are you, my friend? Welcome into the game in Tuscaloosa.
Thank you, Ryan. Yes, I survived the Grove last weekend. In fact, we made it a doubleheader, SEC NHL doubleheader. I've never done that before. 2 games, 2 states. We went back to Nashville to watch the Predators play the Blue Jackets after watching Ole Miss and Oklahoma last week. So I haven't had many Saturdays like that in my life, but it was sure a lot of fun last week.
Yeah, that's hey, and the Preds are pretty awesome environment. I've not been to a game, but I've just seen it's almost like a college football fan base that's in the South and the passion of the NHL. So it kind of combines all into one. I've been told it's pretty awesome.
It is, and they kind of closed down Broadway right around the arena because it's right there, and there's a lot of hubbub going on in the street. They're playing at home tonight, Halloween night on Broadway in Nashville. They're really going to have some fun tonight. Edmonton's coming in, so watch. That might be fun.
Hey, Bruce, we're doing favorite candy bars for Halloween. You got a favorite candy bar?
Butterfinger.
Okay,
as long as,
okay.
Yeah, I'm careful with that. I did pull out a crown once eating a Butterfinger, so I go kind of easy. But that'd be my favorite.
Okay. We're also celebrating Nick Saban's birthday. When you think about Nick Saban, what's the first thing that pops in your head?
Well, I will tell you, I'm going to be funny about this.
Okay.
My wife watched Saban the other week, and she was saying, "Who's coloring his hair?" She knows about that sort of stuff.
Oh.
She says when men color their hair after 70, there's only one reason. She said, you can't say this about women because you don't know they color their hair all the time. The only reason a man does it is to cover grays. And she said she wants to give Coach Saban her hairdresser's number because she does hair coloring right. And that's what that's what my wife says. She knows a lot more about hair coloring than me because I don't have that much hair. So I trust her on that one. For me, though, Coach Saban, I'm not sure where to start. But I think, I'm going to go all the way back to Michigan State because he immediately turned Michigan State around when he came there for George Perlis in the 90s. So, that's 30 years ago now. I can't believe how fast time has flown. But that shows how long he was right front and center in front of everybody as a head coach. And that's a long run, baby.
Well, and I think about what he did at other places, LSU, but then I also think about the byproduct of other programs like his 17-year run. Look at Georgia's facilities have been upgraded. Florida's facilities have been upgraded. Ole Miss's facilities have been upgraded. Why did they upgrade? For the armchair race with Alabama. They knew that they had to do something to keep up. Facility-wise, he has made a lot of money in the construction athletic business.
He has, and they've all been trying to keep pace with Alabama. So I know there's some construction guys who have been, and contractors who have been very happy with the Coach Saban came around too, because he's kept them busy at all those other SEC venues and elsewhere too. His impact has been profound, like you say, and that goes beyond the SEC. I think a lot of college football trying to keep pace.
Hey, Bruce, let's go back to Alabama and the Missouri game. Any takeaways from that game before we dive into this weekend's action?
Much needed. Very, very solid. Back on firmer footing. Although I must say I was a little surprised to see Brady Cook in there at the start of the game. I thought he was going to be out, and then he did come out after a certain point. So I was going to curse an Eli a little bit because that moved the point spread up when it looked like Cook was out. But Alabama, the defense, I think that was a big, nice effort for the defense last week and gets Alabama on track. The most important thing for the Tide now is just to keep steady like this and keep winning out. One thing, it's too soon to start talking about where they fit in the playoff thing, but 2 losses is definitely not going to disqualify you this year. And they do have that win over Georgia, and nobody else might have that. And we know they're taking multiples of SEC teams this year. So they're still alive in this conversation. Still a lot of football to be played in November in the next month here. But the Tide is, if they can get on track here and win out, I still think they have a chance to get in the 12. We'll see.
Okay, so 10-2, and I don't know if you want to put a confidence interval on this thing, but if they were 10-2, they went out, they go to Baton Rouge, they win, they come back, they beat Mercer, they go to Oklahoma, they beat Oklahoma, they come back, beat Auburn. They're not playing in the SEC title game. How comfortable would they feel with that 12-team playoff? What do you think?
Well, it would depend because there's so many. Here's what we're going to have to weigh this season is just the sanctity of records, Ryan. And I think we can project this out. We're still, 5-6 weeks away from them announcing the playoff teams. But, I mean, there's going to be some teams out there with 1 loss, maybe in the ACC, maybe in the Big 12. But you're going to look at them versus some teams with 2 losses elsewhere. And they could also come from the Big 10, and they could, certainly come from the SEC. And how do you rate them? And in that case, bad losses, good wins. Like I said, I don't think anybody else is going to have a win over Georgia this year, and that is going to be pretty good in Alabama's satchel. But there's still a lot of football to be played this month. There's still there are going to be several 2-loss teams in this thing. Ohio State can end up with 2 losses. And what do we do? What do we do there? And the Big 12 has got a couple teams still unbeaten. The ACC, what if Pitt keeps winning like this? My gut feeling is, though, that some of the teams out of those leagues, if they end up with 1 loss, may fall behind the pecking order of a solid SEC team with 2. I think about the only thing we can say right now for sure is don't lose a 3rd game if you want to get in the 12. At one point I thought, they might take an SEC team with 3 losses. The way this season is shaping up, I don't think so. But an SEC team with 2 losses like Bama with a win over Georgia and its satchel, I think they'll be in the mix come the second week in December.
All right, let's go through some numbers. And this is kind of like I hate or I need help Alabama type thing. Let's go to Texas A&M, South Carolina. This would help Alabama. South Carolina plus the 3 at Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, South Carolina. Texas A&M is the favorite here.
Yeah, this certainly looks like a banana peel possibility for A&M, especially after that rousing win over LSU last week. I think, though, it's about time we start talking about Mike Elko as a possible coach of the year here and what he has done and how he has stabilized that thing. And, the way, he actually coached that game last week, too, and putting Marcel Reed in there at quarterback, that is not the easiest thing to do to juggle quarterbacks. But Weigman does tend to blow hot and cold, and I think we talked about that last week, the good Weigman versus the bad Weigman. And it's not always the easiest thing to rotate quarterbacks in, but Marcel Reed gives them something different, and Coach Elko knew when to put him in. So knowing how to rotate your quarterbacks around is a pretty good thing. It's not always that easy, but he's got that down. The defense is sound, like all Elko defenses, and they have not lost since the opener against Notre Dame. Having said that, this looks like you're into a hornet's nest there. My only concern about South Carolina, I remember that Ole Miss game, about 4 weeks ago, and I was all over South Carolina in that game, and they just got shut down completely by Ole Miss. And Sellers does still tend to blow a little bit hot and cold in this offense, and they will be frenzied there. And I think Shane Beamer, that defensive front is pretty nasty for South Carolina, as Alabama saw 3 weeks ago. But My gut feeling is A&M is on this roll right now, and they will survive this game and win. So I'm going to lay the shorter price with A&M, but it is going to be a good one Saturday night, and we know it's going to be buzzing there at Williams-Brice.
You mentioned some other games here. Let's go Indiana, Michigan State. Indiana minus the 8, another team that's in front of the University of Alabama.
Yeah, this one, I mean, Indiana's got some really interesting numbers. If they had the playoff today, Indiana's in the 12, although they don't have, there's not any great wins in there. They got a couple of decent wins. They have not trailed in the game this year. And what I look at with them, I hate to play the comparable score game, but when they played UCLA, they throttled UCLA. Now, UCLA is not great this year, but they're not that bad. They played LSU and Penn State rather competitively, and they just had no chance against Indiana. So I'm pretty sold on Indiana. We'll see if Curtis Rourke plays this week. But something tells me that, just from my experience doing this, that I am not comfy laying over a touchdown on the road with a team that is now breathing this rarefied air, undefeated into November. That hasn't happened for the Hoosiers since John Pont's 1967 Rose Bowl team. And Michigan State did come up big a couple weeks ago against Iowa at home. I know they tough one last week. They lost at Michigan, but it looks like they're making some improvements here for Jonathan Smith. And Childs, the quarterback, making a few more plays than he did earlier in the year. This is not a dynamic Michigan State team, but Smith has a very good record as an underdog in the past. I think Indiana survives, but this is going to be close. And I'm not going to lay the points here with Indiana. If anything, I may even take the Spartans plus, though. The Hoosiers, I mean, the only game they didn't cover was the opener against Florida International, and they still won that one by 24. But this week, I think it's going to be kind of tough to get over that 8-point spread.
Yeah, from an Alabama perspective, you pull for some of these teams to get a blemish, but then they give a blemish too. So you're kind of like, okay, and not saying that Ohio State could be beat, but let's work our way to that game. Ohio State 6-1, Penn State 7-0. That one's at Beaver Stadium there in Pennsylvania. Ohio State minus the number here, 3.
Yeah, we know James Franklin hasn't beaten Ohio State since 2016, so he seems to continually come up short in these big sorts of games. Maybe this is the time he gets over the hump. We will see about Drew Aller's status at quarterback, though Pagula, the backup, actually looked pretty steady last week coming in there against Wisconsin. When we've noticed, we might have talked about this earlier, bringing in Andy Kotelnicki from Kansas to run this offense really has changed things for Penn State. A lot more aggressive. They throw in the ball downfield a lot more, at least they were with Aller in there. Tyler Warren is like this year's Brock Bowers at tight end, dominating games. So the offense has really picked up from last year. I think they're a little too cutesy for me. I watched them against USC a few weeks ago. And those running backs, Singleton, Altman can do a little bit more, I think. But they do have some balance and they're dangerous. My question about Ohio State is, I wonder if Ryan Day has overestimated the impact Chip Kelly could have with his offense. They don't look that overwhelming to me. And they're good, really good, but I'm not sure Will Howard is that much of an upgrade over McCord, at least before last week's McCord. And I would point out most of Chip Kelly's success running offenses, whether it be at UCLA or Oregon, were with mobile quarterbacks. And the stuff Chip was doing, especially at Oregon over a decade ago, I mean, he was sort of avant-garde then. I mean, running a lot of, read option and stuff like that. But the rest of the college football sort of caught up with Chip. I'm not sure this offense is all that dynamic, and Howard is not really a runner. I think Penn State might actually get him, and I thought that was a sign of vulnerability for Ohio State last week. And this is what I'm talking about. A team like Ohio State with 2 losses won't make the Big Ten title game. If that happens, where does Ohio State fit in this playoff mix? Maybe outside of it. We'll see. But I think they're in a little trouble on Saturday.
You mentioned Pittsburgh in the early part of the conversation. That'll be the final one we talk about. Pittsburgh at SMU. Pittsburgh at SMU. SMU minus the 7.5.
That looks way too much to me. SMU was really lucky to survive Duke last week. And I know they've had a couple of impressive efforts. And they switched quarterbacks, and I give Lashley credit. Early on, he went to the more mobile Jennings instead of Preston Stone, who was their guy coming into the season. But Jennings has been a nice dual threat for them. But Pittsburgh has been really resilient. I know Bama people know about Eli Holstein up there. He's turned into a very dynamic leader for the Panthers. They have shown the ability to play from behind and win some close games early in the year. And this, I think Pat Narduzzi's got a very, very competent team here. And this is a big game in the ACC race. I mean, one of these teams could be in the championship game, and right now Pitt's in pretty good shape. I'm taking the Panthers plus the 7.5. I think they might win this outright. This is one of my best plays of the week.
All right. Bruce, I said I was my last one. Can you give me a thought on Auburn Vanderbilt real quick, and then we'll let you get out of here?
One thought on this one. I know Vanderbilt has been a great story all year. They've covered every game as an underdog, but something tells me they might not win the rest of the way. I have seen this too many times in my career here. These teams punching above their weight, and a great job Clark Lee has done in Pavia. We've talked about him all year and thrown him flowers all year for as good as he's played. But these teams often run out of steam, and I don't think Auburn's playing that bad right now. Those two losses at Georgia and Mizzou, they played fairly well. Peyton Thorne is cutting down mistakes. They took charge of that game at Kentucky last week, and Jarquez is running the ball awfully, awfully well. So I'm going to go against the grain here. Everybody seems to like Vandy. This week, though, I'm going the other way. I'm going to take Auburn.
Bruce Marshall, take as much time as you need. Promote everything that you're involved in, because you wear a lot of different hats and a lot of responsibilities.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Ryan. Check me out online, VegasInsider.com. We are having a bang-up year in college football and the NFL, and we got a game tonight with the Texans and the Jets. So my picks up there. Also, the NBA starting off really good in the NBA, too. VegasInsider.com. You can also see my picks at CBS Sportsline, Sportsline.com, and with a little bit different twist, also up there at Winners and Winers, WHINERS.com, and PicksandParlays.com.
And there it is. Bruce Marshall, I appreciate you. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you again for being a part of the show. Have a great weekend.
You too, Ryan. Thank you.
Thank you. Bruce Marshall helping us out. Let's continue with more. We'll talk to Brad Powers coming up. 73 years of age. We're talking about favorite memories in this Saban era, but also looking ahead to Alabama and LSU, looking ahead to another busy weekend of college football. It's one of those I need help weekends. We've talked about that. Brad Powers is going to join us. We're also doing a few tricks and a few treats. I don't have either today, and I don't know a lot of tricks. So, I'm thinking I might have a cough drop in my radio bag. That might be the best thing I've got right now. But if you come to Coker, Alabama, I'll give you a Snickers bar. But don't take too many, because leftovers are all mine. Stephen, Raleigh, North Carolina. Stephen, if I came to your house, what am I getting? Knocking on the door? What's the option?
You're getting Reese's Cups, Snickers. It's a full chocolate bag.
Yeah. I mean, this is the weekend that we get a chance.
Good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, and you want to do that, because those kids, they're mean as you know what. And if you don't give them the good stuff, they know where you live, man.
Right. You know, whatever, you know.
Yeah. Let the dog poop on your yard. I mean, they do it all. You got to watch those little munchkins.
You know, you're talking about candy earlier. You're from Blount County. Your mom might have made these as a kid. Do you remember potato candy?
I do, but I don't remember a lot of I remember it vaguely.
Well, your mother would boil a potato and put a whole box of powdered sugar in the potato.
Okay, no. I just looked at the photo. This is not. Yeah, I don't think I did this one. Yeah.
Roll it out and then put peanut butter in the middle of it and roll it up and slice it. The white chocolate. So I had that as a kid in the 70s, you know. We were poor. You know, so my mother made potato candy and she learned it from her mother. But the white chocolate Reese's cup reminds me of potato candy.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I look at the photos. It looks good, but I don't think I've ever had it. I was thinking of something else, but you know, it's. Yeah. But like going to a door, we used to have this lady that was living in the neighborhood, and she was probably a couple of miles down, and you would go there and she would give you popcorn. I don't know what she did to that popcorn, but it was some of the best popcorn you could ever have, and it's like those little homemade treats. Now, Stephen, I would be hesitant to have one of those homemade treats. There's so many weirdos out here.
Yes, the weirdos. You just don't know. You know, it's a different time, Ryan. I want to talk about a couple. I want to talk about a couple things other than Halloween here.
Okay.
From a football standpoint, we have a Texas A&M, Tennessee, Georgia problem as far as making the playoffs. And all four of those teams, even if we don't lose another game, Tennessee beat us. And if Texas A&M only loses to Texas, we got a problem, Ryan, making the playoffs, because they're not going to take 5 SEC teams. Or if Tennessee only loses to Georgia and doesn't lose another game, we got part of our problem is Indiana in the Big Ten.
All right, and you've got Tennessee playing Kentucky this weekend. They're probably not going to lose that game. They're a big-time favorite. Mississippi State, not going to lose that one. You mentioned Georgia. I guess Vanderbilt would be the only option.
Right. They're not going to put us in over Tennessee if we both got 2 losses.
All right, so let's just assume you've got Georgia. You pull for Georgia because you don't want them to drift away. Okay, so let's just say Georgia takes one of the spots. You mentioned Tennessee. If they lose to Georgia,
they got 2 losses.
They would. All right, and let's just kind of put Tennessee on the side right there for just a minute. All right, so you got Texas. Man, why would it would have been a lot easier just to go beat Vanderbilt? Wouldn't it have been a lot easier? I mean, the Tennessee loss.
Vanderbilt's our real problem.
That's the real problem.
Vanderbilt's our real problem.
And I hope what Bruce Marshall says does not come true. He thinks they're going to drift late. You don't need Vanderbilt to drift late. I mean, if you're an Alabama guy, you want them to go this weekend and stomp a mud hole in Auburn. Auburn's not a good football team. They have 3 wins. But
we need Vanderbilt to find a way to beat Tennessee is what we need.
Yeah, but boy, I'd hate to know I went sweating into that weekend. I mean, that's the last weekend of the year. And who knows what chaos. But like Texas A&M, I think they could lose this weekend. I mean, I think a lot of people do. Now, can we trust South Carolina? I mean, they're up and down.
I don't trust South Carolina, but it's still a possibility.
It is a possibility. It is a possibility. So, and you look at that Texas A&M minus the 3, home field advantage. They no doubt think Texas A&M is a better team. So we'll talk to Brad about that coming up in a couple of minutes. But then you start kind of going through the rankings. If Texas A&M if they don't lose there, the only other option is Texas. So then. All right, but I want to go back to the Texas game. All right, so Georgia beat them on the road. I'm trying to think of a way that we could get Texas out of there. And I look at their schedule. Man.
Florida needs to beat Texas. Florida would need to beat Texas. Right?
Yeah, but Florida's not going to beat them. Arkansas could on the road.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about Arkansas. Arkansas's playing pretty good ball right now.
They are. Enough that it's...
that I think it's going to save their coach's job.
Yeah, I do too.
And I would have thought he would have been one of 2 coaches. I would have thought the Florida coach and Sam Pittman would have been fired sometime mid-season. That's what I really thought going into the season. But Sam Pittman saved his job for this year anyhow.
So right now you got Texas A&M, Texas. They'll both meet. So one of those teams will have 2 losses. I mean, that's just easy, just mathematical formula there. All right. Then when we look at Tennessee, I mean, I still think you could slip in that 4th spot, but you need somebody there.
You need some help. We need some help. There's no doubt about that.
And it's like you would love to be able to get some help from Georgia, but you need that as a resume booster.
Right.
I mean, you don't want Georgia, I don't think, to go to Ole Miss and lose that game.
Right. No, I don't. I want Georgia to stop a motto in Ole Miss. I do, because I'm really happy that Ole Miss has. I didn't think Ole Miss would be sitting here with 2 losses already. I don't think nobody did. So,
man, there is some scary stuff right here when you look at it. I mean, when you start looking at the formula, when you start kind of going through this, I mean, I can see but I also look at the metrics. I mean, ESPN College Football Power Index has Alabama at over 53% of making the college football playoffs.
But do you trust the committee to put Alabama where they rightfully belong?
That's why next Tuesday, I know we're going to be watching the election. That's huge. I mean, it's important because, heck, we may not be able to afford a hot dog if it doesn't go the way. I mean, you can go look at it and,
right.
You know, I mean, and so, but college football playoffs will be, from a sports perspective, it will be also super important.
Hey, one last thing, real quick, Ryan. Change the subject. I watched the Memphis Alabama basketball game on streaming the other night. You know, we were up by 23, and they came back and made a pretty good game out of it. But it was very deceiving, Ryan. But two coach, Penny Hardaway and Coach Oates, met at midcourt during the game and decided nobody would foul out. So every Memphis starter would have fouled out long before the game was over with, and they would have never made it that close if they would have actually held to the 5 fouls. So the Memphis leading scorer, he had 30-something points, but he had 8 fouls, Ryan. He scored 20 points probably with 7 or 8 fouls because nobody could foul out. So I really like this basketball team. Big Cliff. I kind of liked Bediako better. I think Bediako is a better athlete than Cliff. But Cliff is a body that we didn't have last year, Ryan. We didn't have anybody like him on the team. And the freshman starts with an N, I believe. Number 35. One of the freshmen, I can't think of his name right now. He was the highest rated freshman we had, 4th highest in history. That kid's going to be a stud. He's a slasher, bigger body than you realize. He's going to be a big help. But the Phylon, I mean,
simply, and we heard him the other night on the, last night. I was saying other night. It was last night on the coaches show. So,
yes, I mean, Ryan, there is some studs on this basketball team that and 2 of our starters haven't even played in the two exhibition games. You know, Grant Nelson hasn't played. The guard that had the concussions last year, I can't think of his name right now. He hasn't played. He's a lights out from 3-point range. But we've got some shooters on this team. Even the kid that came from Pepperdine, that's the guard.
Go back for just a couple of minutes. On the injury side of things, you've got game day decisions, all game day decisions except Youngblood. So you got Reitzel is probably, according to Nate Oates. Latrell Reitzel. So he's, should be able to go, should be able to play. Nelson's been held out some, but all have practice. So, you almost wonder if the season would have got started against Memphis on Monday night rather than an exhibition game, if some of these guys would have been able to go. And I'm, being conservative, I understand it's a long season.
Oh, looking at the way that they were celebrating, Reitzel and Nelson were celebrating on the sidelines when kids would make shots, I think if the regular season would have started last Monday when they played it, I believe they would have played. I do. I believe they were held out for precaution reasons. And the thing about it, Ryan, Youngblood was projected to be a starter going into this year. So that would be 3 starters haven't even played this preseason, these exhibition games. It's going to be Coach Oates. It's going to be interesting for how he distributes playing time, because there are bunches of players worthy of playing time.
And how do you manage that? Because it can go positive, but it can also be a negative too. Hey, Stephen, I got to get to Brad Powers, man. I appreciate you. Hope you have a great day. Yep. Thank you, Stephen in Raleigh, North Carolina. Brad Powers. All right, got a thumbs up from Jackson. So I wanted to ask Brad Powers a question off the air because I didn't want to throw him a curveball if he's not able to do that. But Brad loves to talk a lot of college football. But we might even ask about the election odds because there's a lot of odds coming out, I believe, out of Las Vegas. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk a lot of different things. things right here with Brad Powers. We're going to talk about how Alabama can need some help, but also looking back at the Alabama-Missouri game. Brad Powers 7, bradpowersports.com. Brad, I hope all is well. Welcome back to T-Town.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Brad, let's go back. Let's go back to Alabama's win against Missouri. What'd you see? What'd we learn?
Well, obviously, Alabama took care of business, so that was a positive. Obviously, a goose egg for the defense is big as far as, psychologically, I would say that's big considering how much Alabama's defense had struggled in recent weeks. Obviously, point spread was, a little bit above 2 touchdowns. You win 34. You're exceeding expectations. I am not going to, automatically say, yep, Alabama is automatically back in business. Playoff, here we come, all that rah-rah, because Missouri, in my opinion, especially that version of Missouri, particularly in the second half with Drew Pine at quarterback, is not a top 25 team. With Drew Pine at quarterback, I would argue that they might not even be a top 35, top 40 team. So a little bit of a grain of salt because, I think quality opponent a little overrated there than what Alabama faced.
All right. When you look at confidence out of that game, is there any reason to believe that Alabama can finish the remaining part of November off this week, going into LSU and go 4-0 in these final 4 games?
Well, I mean, they're certainly going to be favored in 3 of the 4. Obvious exception is going to be this game against LSU that, I personally think it should be close to pick. There was a sports book that had Alabama favored by 4.5 last week. I actually bet LSU. I think Alabama's a little bit better than LSU, but obviously at night, I think it's going to be at night. Have they announced
it will be. Yeah, it will be.
Okay. Baton Rouge at night, very tough place to play, to say the least. And obviously LSU's back's against the wall. I mean, it's going to be an incredibly important game. So I'm close to pick them, so I think that's a 50-50 game. The other ones, obviously, Alabama should be favored in significantly, so especially against Oklahoma and Auburn, and obviously an FCS opponent. I would say it's 50-50 that they'll run the table. It all depends on the LSU game, and boy, that's going to swing. The swings of emotions, expectations, the thought processes of the fan bases between both programs is going to hinge so much on that game. It's unbelievable. It's going to be one of the most important games of the entire season.
Wow. Brad, I mean, the way that you illustrated it right there, verbalized it, it's pretty, I mean, it does. I mean, you look at it from an Alabama perspective, but then you flip the script and you look at it from a Brian Kelly perspective. Those fans are getting a little bit impatient down there.
Yeah, I mean, 9-3 in year 3 is not what they're paying him. $10 million, $100 million guaranteed contract is what he got. That's not what they signed up for. So the previous 3 coaches all won national championships at LSU, and you're not seeing the team get better. I mean, they've been a 3-loss team now for 3 straight years if they happen to lose to Alabama. So you think how Alabama fan feels. It's probably that and then some at LSU, considering they have a coach in year 3 compared to year 1, and they're at home. I mean, I would say this: Brian Kelly better win that game. Otherwise, I mean, there's going to be some noise. He thought he had pressure at Notre Dame. That's nothing compared to what he's going to get at LSU.
Brad, when you lose games you're not supposed to, you have to look for help. When you look at this weekend, you start kind of working your way. And, we were told a couple of days ago, and we had one of the college football playoff experts, Heather Denenjohn, to kind of break down. And, she reminded us, like a Boise State, if they're one of the highest 5 conference champions, they would get that 5th seed. You have 7 at large and 5 automatics with the 5 highest conference bids. When you look at Boise State, they've got San Diego State this weekend, Nevada, San Jose State, Wyoming, Oregon State. You see them continuing on this winning way. The only loss blemish that they have is to Oregon. It was only a 3-point loss.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be double-digit favorite in each of their remaining 5 games. So if they take care of business, they'll be hosting the Mountain West Championship game, probably playing UNLV again, be favored in that game, but by more than a touchdown. It'll be another probably solid win on the resume. I think the surprising thing with Boise is if they're compared to like a 2-loss Big 12 champ. I know there's a couple of unbeaten teams in the Big 12, but, I mean, they could still beat each other up. I think there's a chance Boise gets the 4 seed and is ranked higher than a conference champ. So that would be interesting. Because I think a lot of people are marking down Boise getting the 12 seed. They're giving them a flyer there, but I think there's at least a decent chance. I'm not saying it's a greater than 50% chance, but I think it's definitely greater than 0 and probably even greater than 10 that they could actually get a 4 seed.
Brad, the game that we have talked about a ton this week, Texas A&M beating LSU, coming off that win. They go to Columbia, South Carolina. They go there as a 3-point favorite. Texas A&M, South Carolina.
I like South Carolina quite a bit in the game. I bet South Carolina is one of my favorite plays of the week. I think there's a really good chance they win the game outright. I like the spot. They're off a bye. A&M's off I'm not going to say it's fraudulent, but it was, if you watch the game, it wasn't 38-23 dominant win. I mean, LSU missed 3 field goals. LSU had 3 turnovers. And I guess caught surprised by Marcel Reed, even though he's played a ton of snaps this year. But I like that South Carolina defensive front. And we're at the point in time where obviously my power rankings are going to be pretty close to the line. Why wouldn't they be? You can't be that far off at this point. There's so many data points out there. But you change just a couple plays in South Carolina's season. What's this point spread? What if they were happen to beat Alabama? I didn't think South Carolina played overly that well in that game, and yet they were right there at the end. LSU game, they blow a 17-point lead. Easily could have won that game. Change a play or two. Say South Carolina, instead of loses, wins those games, or at least one of the two, and we're not dealing with a 3-point line here. So you add that together, I like South Carolina.
All right, we're talking right now with Brad Powers. He's a professional handicapper. I want to go to Arkansas and Ole Miss. That game's in Fayetteville, Arkansas. It's Ole Miss minus the 8.
Yeah, at 8, numbers matter. I would lean Arkansas. I don't trust this Ole Miss offense. I mean, we're talking about an offense that against non-conference competition, they average 55 points per game. SEC play, 24 points per game, so less than half. Yardage is down 250 yards per game. Completion percentage down 15%. Rushing down 150 yards per game compared from non-conference play to SEC action. So I don't have enough faith in this Ole Miss offense to get margin. Ole Miss defense has been great. And it's also a reason why I lean under. I mean, you think Ole Miss, there's this narrative out here that high-scoring Lane Kiffin offense, it's the opposite. And this is even going back to last season. But even this season, unders in Ole Miss games are 7-1.
Pittsburgh, SMU minus the 7.5 there in Dallas.
Yeah, I'm more on the SMU side of this game now. I'm waiting to get further indication that their quarterback's going to play. It looks like Pitt's quarterback's going to play, Eli Holstein, but you guys are familiar with him. He's having a decent year, but it's a rare opportunity. I get an opportunity to bet on a team that was -6 in turnovers last week, SMU, and somehow won the game. It only been done one time in the previous 125 instances of a team being -6 in turnovers that they won the game. So I think they're underrated. And then I'm playing against a Pitt team that was +5 in turnovers last week, including 3 pick sixes in a very fraudulent final against Syracuse. So you add those two things together, I think there's value on SMU.
Yeah, we're a lot of fun games this weekend. I mean, it's Texas Tech, Iowa State's kind of intriguing. Iowa State minus the 13.5 in Ames, Iowa.
Tough laying points. I mean, with Iowa State, traditionally Matt Campbell, their head coach, not a great favorite. More better in the underdog role. Texas Tech's quarterback, in my opinion, is not 100%. At the current number 13.5, I'd lean Iowa State, but I didn't bet it.
Okay, you left that one alone. Indiana, Michigan State, IU minus the 8.
Yeah, I like Michigan State here, and I think they're live to win the game outright. I'm just waiting. I'm very price sensitive. I'm waiting for the official announcement on the Indiana quarterback, Curtis Rourke. Looks like he's going to play. I think once it gets announced that he will, line's going to go up, and then I'll take the Michigan State. Sprinkle a little bit on the money line.
Can we tell, you lived up there, so maybe you can convince. Can we convince the Big Ten that you play these big games in the evening? 11 a.m. early game, Fox, Ohio State at Penn State. This is a big one, but it's an early morning game.
Yeah, it's that Fox contract.
Sure.
And Big Noon Kickoff, at least last year, had the best ratings. So not this year. ABC's dominating with pretty much SEC triple headers. Very smart that they've done that. Tough game just because it's the biggest game of the week. Doesn't mean you've heard me say this almost every week. Doesn't mean it's the best value. Penn State's taking money. It looks like Aller's going to play. I'm not on the side. I'm more on the total. I think both teams' defenses have the edge over the opponent's offenses. So I'm at under. You can find as high as 47 out there right now. I'm on under the total.
Oregon, Michigan. Oregon minus the 14.5 in Ann Arbor.
I want to bet Oregon. It's a little expensive, but that's the only way I could bet this game. I don't see a pathway for Michigan's offense. I think Oregon locks down the Michigan wide receivers, which are average at best. In fact, below average for a team like Michigan. And then Michigan's defense has a lot of guys that are going to go early in the draft, but I don't like their scheme. So I think Oregon gets separation here. I'm laying it with the Ducks.
Vanderbilt at Auburn. Auburn minus the 7.5. I don't know as far as the lines. I'm sure there's probably a non-conference game that they could have been favored. But, I mean, it's a big number for the Auburn Tigers. A lot of belief here in the Tigers against Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I mean, to blow right through a key number of 7. Diego Pavia might not be 100%. I'll have to dig in further, but there's only way I could bet this game. That'd be Vanderbilt 5-0 as an underdog this year against the spread. 3 outright upsets, almost 2 other upsets that it probably easily could have won against Missouri, and then we're right there in the mix against Texas last week. So I don't know how you couldn't bet Vanderbilt here, even though the market's saying Auburn's the play. I'll take the hook on a key number.
Tulane and Charlotte's a Thursday game. Any value here? Anything that intrigues you in Charlotte, North Carolina?
I pizza bet the over 54. That's pretty much it there.
Okay.
I worry about Tulane's defense a little bit. Faced a ton of plays last week against North Texas on the road. Now they're on the road on a short week again. So Charlotte's offense is playing better. But Tulane, I think the bigger story is keep this name in the back of your mind. John Sumrall, the Tulane coach, maybe the best group of 5 head coach out there. I mean, all he does is win the back-to-back Sun Belt championships in 2 years at Troy. You've seen what's happened to that program since he left, and now at Tulane. And I know Army and Navy are getting all the love in the American. The best team in the American is Tulane.
Okay. All right. We're talking right now with Brad Powers, BradPowers7.com. Brad, I want you to take me to the election odds. What are you seeing out there? Do you value it? Is it something that's intriguing? I know the way that you evaluate numbers, and I've seen Trump as minus, 210, 215 in some polls. Maybe there's others that might be lower, but is there anything there that intrigues you from an election standpoint? Because a lot of people are going to be watching Tuesday evening.
Well, I will say this, and I took the question because I think there's a lot of misperception about the election. Shocker there. You can't bet the election legally in the United States. You cannot bet it legally. If you're going to bet it, you have to go offshore to certain websites. So if you think you're going to, I'm going to fly to Vegas and make a bet on the election, I'm going to save you the trip and the airfare. You can't walk up to the counter and bet the election in Las Vegas. So it should be allowed because I think they're missing opportunity on, I would say, the biggest betting event that there could ever be would be the election, because you're talking several $1 billion would be bet on it. Right now, I mean, obviously in the last week, I'll give you some updates. Obviously, there's been a lot of Trump money in the last week, where his odds went from 50-50 to now he's looking at like minus 185 is the book that I trust the most, at least right now. So pretty significant favorite there. Although this isn't an endorsement, I think it's closer to 50-50 when it's all said and done. So if you were to bet it, whether I would be saying this if this was Donald Trump at plus 160 or more, but right now at the current number, I could only look towards the dog, and that would be Kamala.
Okay, all right. Brad,
that's not an endorsement. That's
no.
That's saying value.
I see it thrown around. Like, I mean, I'm on Twitter or X or whatever we call it these days, and I see all these numbers. I'm going, okay, all right. Where are you getting this from? I mean, how do you handicap it? Because, I mean, we saw, 2 or 3 years ago in the 2022, we saw the polls were wrong. I still don't know if these polls are wrong. And it's like, it's just based on a lot of things that, it's kind of a gut feeling. I mean, who knows what will happen? I mean, there could be a rainstorm.
I wouldn't doubt you take the dog. Now, there's probably going to be, I'm just saying there's going to be wild swings on election day. So what have I bet? I have not bet anything. I bet like a long time ago, because I was told during the Super Bowl that it was not likely that Joe Biden was going to finish the race. So I took some long shots at that time. But I have not made a bet on it since that time. I'm waiting for some wild swings, probably closer to Election Day, but I'll be betting. I'll try to get both candidates with a plus number.
Okay. Brad Powers, as he always tells you, you got to shop around a little bit. You got to shop around. I mean, that's the difference between a win and a loss. But, I mean, Brad, you've been on a hot streak here lately, man. I've been reading your VIP stuff, man. I mean, you've been a little hot here lately in the world of college football. Most people have not.
Yeah, I've had it. I try to keep it on the DL. I don't talk. Everyone else, when they win, they just talk. Well, that usually comes back around. So I have had one of my better years that I've ever had, but I've kept quiet about it because you're only as good as your next bet. Yeah,
that sounds like a coach, Brad. You sound like a coach, Brad. I mean, that's what that sounds like. You got to take a victory lap.
I've been in
it
long enough to know. I know it can. I'll take the victory lap when the season's over with. But I know it can turn at any moment. So we keep doing what we're doing, win or lose.
Hey, and you can find that information, Brad Powers 7 on the Twitter account. If you want to connect with him, that's the easiest way, Brad Powers 7. But you can also go to Brad Powers Sports, Brad Powers Sports. One more time, because people are asking me that maybe didn't hear your first call. What's the official line that you think it'll be for Alabama LSU? I mean, just when it comes out on Sunday, I know we already have some preliminary stuff, but is that limited action or is that full go?
I think it's going to be. I honestly, I'm going to cop out and say it's going to be pick. And if it's not pick, I'm going to, if it's LSU 1.5, 2, maybe I'll consider Alabama. If it's Alabama 1.5, 2, I'm going to consider betting LSU. But it's got to be close to pick. Alabama's slightly the better team, but you got to factor in. I mean, you got to give LSU at least 3 points of home field advantage.
And it's a fun place to play. Brad Powers, I appreciate you, man. Hope you have a great rest of your day, man. Thank you.
All right, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Brad Powers 7 on the Twitter account, BradPowersSports.com. You can get his subscription services. I've been reading his numbers. I mean, I watch them because we feature him every Thursday. He is a guy that has been putting up a lot of wins. So Brad Powers, let's take phone calls. We're right here on the game. Inventory as well, by the way, as we open up a little, hopefully, I mean, as we enter November, bring on the temps. A little cold weather. Let's continue right here with phone calls. We are going to those 205-342-9904. Marty, Arkansas. Marty, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well. All right. No Marty. How about Bama Nick? Bama Nick, good afternoon. You're in the game. All right. Don't know what happened there. All right. Let's try Bubba. Bubba, good afternoon. You're in the game.
What's going on, my friend?
Man, I'm good.
Can I go on a little rant before we talk about this?
Sure you can.
Okay. The last couple of days, I've listened to Joseph calling your show. And I want to commend you the way you handled it yesterday, by the way. But I got a message for Joseph. Joseph, look in the mirror and say, I cannot fit stupid. That is you, son, because you're stupid.
Look in the mirror and say, I cannot fix stupid. Okay.
And find you another football team, because we don't need fans like you on Alabama's side. Find you another radio show. But that's all I want to say. He's an idiot.
His opinions are rather strange.
He's a racist.
Yeah, I can understand where some of the, I nenever want to accuse people of that, because I think we throw it around too often.
We do.
I think it's used too much, and I think it desensitizes the word, because when you throw it around so often, there's a need for it. But then there's also a desensitization, that it doesn't mean as much. And it should grab our attention when you call somebody that. So I'm very hesitant to do that. But, yeah.
Well, you hit it on the money. I mean, he didn't hear a word from him for 10 months. 10. Until Jalen Milroe started having
and we knew that he would pop back in here. I mean, it's easy to predict. But I promise you, if he goes to LSU and he beats LSU, because I like what Alex Scarborough said earlier.
Yeah,
it's all about how far can he take you? How far can Jalen Milroe? Because, I mean, that's what the success of this team hinges on. I mean, it puts all the pressure on him, sure. But it's really true. If you tell me he's going to have a bad game in Baton Rouge, then I'm going to tell you that Alabama's going to lose.
Absolutely. If he plays to his ability, we'll beat him by 2 touchdowns or more. But anyway, that's enough of that. But
well, like I said, I mean, I'm always guarding, when he calls in.
Right. I know you are. I know you see you're getting that button. You had that button ready.
Oh, yeah. No, I told, I'm trying to think who was the first time he called this week, who was producing that particular day, but it may have been Jaisha. I told Jaisha, I said, have your finger on the button. But like I said, I can't just say, hey, listen, he obviously doesn't like Jalen Milroe. I get it. Right. There's a lot of people that question his skill set, okay?
Right.
But to say that he's not improved?
He's crazy. Hey, if he wasn't improved, he wouldn't be starting. He's obviously our best. Taylor DeBoer is not stupid. If he had a better quarterback, he would play the better quarterback, but he don't. I mean, it's just that. But anyway, I've given Joseph enough time today. My favorite Nick rant has to be the Georgia Southern thing of all of them, or the one thanking A.J. McCarron off the field.
You got to go back to 2010 to find that one. But I think it was Steven a couple of minutes ago that talked about 2nd and 26. Man, that was special. That was special.
And what he did, it was 2 games is what he did that amazed me. Gets Clemson calling that onside kick for one that changed the game, basically, and then 2nd and 26. All righty, bud. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay, thanks, Bubba. We appreciate that. Let's continue, and we'll go to JR in Coker, Alabama. JR, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
Hey, how you doing, Ryan?
I'm good. Did we cut you off earlier, or did you drift away and have to go chase cats?
No, I wasn't at home at that time.
Okay.
But, yeah. I mean, there might have been a few cats around. I was thinking about chasing, but
okay,
I couldn't catch up with them.
I mean, I'm talking about real cats. I ain't talking about other cat.
I know what you're talking about. But anyway, I was just checking up. Hey, have you announced the winners this week from last week's picks?
You know what? I have not. I'll do the parlay picks tomorrow. I have not, but we do have a winner. That winner has not called in yet.
Oh, okay. Well, that would mean I did not. Didn't win the score prediction anyway.
There's a particular person. I like to do it on the air because it's fun. You build up the anticipation a little bit.
Yeah, I'm all good. I mean, I didn't ask you the other day, so I wasn't worried about it. I predicted the 34 correctly, but I didn't do the other end of it. So
well, I mean, JR,
the zero.
That's a big part of it. I mean, hey, there was several people that got the 34. There's one guy that hit it dead on the money. So.
Oh, good.
Well, no, I'm talking about. I mean, Alabama. Did you hit Alabama on the dead on the money?
Yeah.
But what was
I had
your
34?
Yeah. What was your Missouri score though? I bet it.
I think 21, maybe it might have been 17.
Yeah,
it's something like that.
JR, that probably won't even get you in the top 10.
I know that. I knew. I wasn't even worried about that.
Yeah.
But the parlay coming up. I'm pretty sure I know I got 2 of them, but I had a little concern about the third one, the late game, and but I think I got that one.
You don't sound very confident, though. I mean, you kind of.
Well, I'm pretty because I couldn't remember which. I was going back and forth on which team on that particular pick I was going to go with, because I think you said it was just a 3-point something line. So anyway, I went with, I believe, the team that won outright. So I'm hoping that I did, because if I did, then I got it. At least a 3-team. And as far as the tiebreaker, I have no clue. I can't even remember. It was 2-something, I said, for total yards, I think, for the other team.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll announce parlays, but you did not win the SEC as far as the Missouri-Alabama prediction. You did not.
I realize that. But, yeah, man, talking about Saban.
But there, like I said, there is a guy who needs to call in. Okay? And I'll give you a little hint now. He does not live in this state.
Oh, boy. Okay. Would it be Texas or Georgia or Florida or Louisiana? Which one?
It is to the west of the state of Alabama.
Well, there you go.
So, there we go. All right,
Okay.
JR, what's your favorite candy?
My favorite candy is the Heath Bar.
Okay.
Kind of got a toffee to it, you know. And I like that one. It's hard, just, you know, you got to crunch it. And I love that. That's why I love crunch. Yeah.
All right. Favorite Nick
Favorite candy? Well,
I never thought.
Nick Saban?
I mean, you sound like Jackson and his Swedish fish thing.
Wait a minute now. I don't even never heard of a Swedish fish, but you've bound to have heard of a Heath.
Well, yeah, I've heard of a Heath Bar, but I don't know how great that is. I mean, that's like saying Auburn's a great football team, JR. I don't know. I mean, is it?
Well,
is
if
it
you try,
I mean, Heath Bar? I mean, really?
Well, you know, let me tell you another one that I like, the Zagnut.
JR, just stick with it.
Or Fifth Avenue.
Okay,
Fifth Avenue.
all right, I'll go there. Fifth Avenue's good. Okay. Yeah, I mean, but the
all right. I'll just, you know, I like a lot of them.
But here's the problem. Okay, if you walk up and I have a table out here and I have all these candy bars, you're going to walk up and take a Heath Bar over a Reese's Cup? I mean, or a Snickers bar?
Sure, I would. Well, see, I have usually, you know, those are more common around wherever you go.
Okay.
People have, you know, like a candy dish, they'll have that in it. And so you're not going to see the others that I really like.
Okay.
You remember the Zero Bar? Uh-huh.
Yeah. I mean, I do. Yeah, but it's been a long time. Like, the problem is with these other candy bars, I mean, it's like Alabama. I mean, if I could have been another fan base, like, why pull for Mississippi State when you can pull for Alabama? Right? I mean,
that's right. You're right.
You walk up and you got all these number ones, and you're going like, well, I'm gonna
go with a zero.
I'm gonna pull for Kentucky. I feel like they're the better team.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I hear you. I hear you. Well, all right. My favorite moment for Saban, because I know you got other itchy callers wanting to get on the air, and it's got to be the time the what is it? Second and 26 was it? Was that that was a touchdown to
Devontae Smith, 41-yard reception.
Devontae Smith. Yes, I liked that one. That was my favorite.
Okay.
I can't go right when your previous caller said something and it was true. The onside kick where they were playing against Clemson, and we had just scored, and then we would do the onside kick, and it was the most unbelievable onside kick I've ever witnessed. I hadn't seen anything like that since. I mean, it seemed like that would have made other teams give it a try, but I had never seen that.
JR, good stuff, man, as always. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Thank you,
Roll
JR.
Tide.
Yeah, 100.9, 1230 WTBC. We will do a SEC parlay pick tomorrow presented by Brian Harden Construction, ASME certification, I-beam installation, fabrication. If you're building for the ground up, let's build something together. Let's go to Bama Nick. Bama Nick, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Where's my intro music, Fowler?
I don't know. Jackson, fire up the trogs. Here it is.
Yeah.
I want to spend my life with a girl like you.
Bye. Say it, Fowler. Sit on that.
That you want me.
Hold on.
Want me to. Bye.
Hold on.
Come.
Be a fast one. Oh, man, this gets you fired up. Doesn't it just get your juices flowing, Bama Nick?
Yeah, it does, fella. And it's Halloween, fella. It's Halloween. Already got the little trick-or-treaters showing up at the Bama Nick Ponderosa.
Okay, what you giving?
Oh, I got a whole bag, a big-ass bag, fella. A big bag, everything, mixture, everything.
Well, how about are you going to be giving out PBRs?
I'm not passing. I ain't giving my PBRs, fella. I can't give them that. You know.
Okay, but I mean, what if the parents look stressed? What could you not help them out a little bit?
Yeah, I tell them pour heavily when they get home. Pour heavily. So, that's all I can tell them to do if they stress like me. Just pour heavily.
Oh, that's a trick, huh? That's a trick. Okay.
That's it. That's my advice to all you women out there with youngins that are stressed. Pour heavily.
Yeah.
Run your old man off and drink heavily. Pour heavily.
Okay.
All right, Paul, let's get on with it now. I don't want to talk about candy bars. That's a bunch of crap.
What is your favorite candy bar?
I don't know why you haven't asked everybody, what's their favorite candy bar? What the hell does that got to do with sports?
We're just having some fun here, Bama Nick. Come on, lighten up.
Well, you better get off that damn.
All right, let me ask you. Now, I'm a big fan of yours on Facebook, okay?
Yeah, did you see what Bama Kathy went and voted today?
Yeah, but I want to know why Bama Nick has not voted.
I voted 2 weeks ago, early voting, first day it come out. I done voted red. I voted MAGA all the way down, and Carrie Moore and Ryan Fowler Kathy put in another write-in vote for me.
Yeah, you're going to be that water man. Yeah, if nobody's running, Bama Nick, this might be one of the five.
There ain't nobody running. All it says down there is write in a vote.
And you don't even know you don't even know what you're going to be doing. You don't know how to purify water, but you're going to be in charge of it. So
don't know a damn thing about it. All I know is it pays $50,000 a year, fellas.
Yeah, he's like, I can be the water.
I figure I can go there. Read a book and hire some people to handle it.
I mean, it's a government job, right? I mean, you could.
Yeah, it's government. It's government.
I mean, so you don't really. I mean, when did it stop other government officials from knowing what they do? I mean, there's.
That's it. You ain't got to be smart to be in the government. Yeah. These days, you ain't got to be smart.
I mean, prime example. Well, I mean, look at the presidential candidate there. She's dumb as a box.
Yeah, look at Kamala Harris.
Yeah, she's dumb as a box of rocks. I mean,
there you go, fella. Dumb as dirt.
Yeah, I mean, there's light posts in Tuscaloosa that are smarter than she is.
There you go. You're right, fella. Have you voted yet, fella? Have you got out to vote yet?
I did. I checked one box.
Which one was Bama Nick?
No, I mean I don't. I
Come
go
on,
in.
fella.
I'm a straight ticket Republican.
There you go, fella. Because I heard y'all weeks ago.
I just vote straight ticket. There's no use of playing around with it. If you got an L or you got a D beside your name, I'm skipping over, man. Not me. So
there you go, fella. Yeah. I hope you go straight with the red ticket, fella.
Yeah. So can y'all not vote straight ticket over there? I mean, can y'all vote straight ticket? I mean, some states do. Okay. I mean, I just checked one box. Went to the back. Always vote no on the Constitution because I trust the old Constitution more than I do the new Constitution. Any amendments? No.
Nope. There you go.
No.
Don't amend it.
Yeah,
You're right.
Yeah, don't want to amend it because there's always some reason to twist. So I just voted. I made two things: 2 no's and 1 dot. And
Mm-hmm.
for those out there that don't like it, just look for the elephant. Don't vote for the. Don't vote for the donkey.
Yeah, tell them to kiss your ass if they vote for the donkey.
Yeah, you see the.
Come on, fella. I call in this show to make it worth listening to. I done heard callers. JR, I love you, brother, but you got to come up with something else.
Yeah. So
Bubba,
I mean, here. Like this guy here goes, Ryan, this is Tony. I don't read his name, but Tony, a different Tony. He said, really enjoy listening to your show. I've been a Bama fan since the 1960s. I've been listening to you for around 2 years now. Retired teacher, love to hunt, roll Tide, and roll MAGA. So,
there you go.
I mean,
Tony. Is that T-Town Tony?
No, that's a different Tony. Tony doesn't know how to use the app.
I don't know how to use the app. I ain't heard from old Texas Tony. Where's he been?
You know, I don't know. I don't know where Texas.
He has a segment on your show, I think, on Wednesdays. And
yeah, but we're actually going to let you have that spot.
Well, that's good, fella. I've been trying to get the spot. Of course, I had it last time, but I started doing things. I couldn't get on there on Thursdays from 5 to 5:30.
Oh yeah. From 5:15 was more like it. But if you want to say 5 to 5:30,
well, I
mean, see, you're gonna do good in this new government job. You're gonna do good, man. If you just keep it up right there, you just stretch it out a little bit. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah, I just wish the people in Alabama, my followers, could vote in Georgia on that position. But it's
okay.
Well, anyway, fellas, let's get on with it. I said, tell Jackson to read my little post on your app I sent him today. He said, Nick, I saw it. I'll read it. I'll tell fella.
Okay.
That's from your chat app. On your show, you go down and swipe the little box to chat with us.
Yeah.
Tell Jackson to pull it up. He said he would tell you. He would read it, show it to you, or whatever.
Jackson, can you read the app message from Bama Nick?
Said, fella.
He's looking for it. He's going to get it here in a second. So,
yeah. All right, now who do you like?
All right, here we go.
You want me to read it here?
All right,
here we go. Yeah. Okay. Here goes Jackson. Jackson in the app.
All right,
Jackson, do it, buddy. Do it.
From Bama Nick in Americus, Georgia, he writes in, Fowler, if I call in today, I want my time. Not 2 minutes. Cut the boring bleep callers off early and reduce all the dang commercials you're running. Granted, I know commercials pay the bills and your salary, but dang, Ryan, this is a sports talk show. Take more callers and limit their clattering time on air. Hashtag Bama Nick.
All right, Bama Nick, we got to go.
There you go, Jack.
Thank you for your phone call. No, you said don't clatter.
Clattering, pal. I'm talking about clattering about nothing, which is most of your callers clatter about nothing. They want to talk about candy bars like today. They want to talk about.
Well, now you and I clatter. We've been talking about the water guy over in Americus, Georgia.
Yeah, but we clatter about something that's important.
Okay. Oh, okay.
They clatter about something that don't mean a damn to nobody about nothing, fella.
All right. So
when I clatter on your show and I go to clatter, I talk about the callers. I talk about football. If you ask me a question, I give you a no bull crap answer.
So now I see Joseph's up here on the call board.
Hunting, deer, fishing.
Joseph's up here on the call board. You a big fan of Joseph?
Joseph called, like I told you when you gave me my little 30 seconds yesterday. Joseph had some good points when he called in and got you fired up. But I listened. He had some good points. Some points I didn't agree with, some I thought about. So he may be right. He getting fired up. It's like when Digger calls you and fires you up.
Yeah, Digger. I didn't realize that Digger was such a big LSU guy. His favorite team is Texas. Second favorite team is LSU.
I know that.
Yeah, second is
well,
LSU.
I know he lives in LSU country, but he pulls for Texas. Digger. I like Digger when he calls because he gets you fired up, pal, and that's what I'm trying to. I try to get you fired up sometimes. And if you tell Jackson, be ready, Jackson. You may have to if Fowler has to go to the bathroom, let him go, and you get on here and talk to him and host the show. Well, we all remember that time when Kim Rankin did it. Don't you remember, Fowler? It was Radio Gold. That's when it made your show.
Yeah, but I was pretending. I was really here. I just wanted to see what you'd do.
No, you wasn't, Fowler. Don't be pretending. You had to go get you some tea or go to the bathroom or whatever.
Yeah.
And see, that's why when I call your show, anytime I call this show, Fowler, and I ain't giving me a pat on the back, I make your show Radio Gold. Have been for 3 years. You know that.
Oh, yeah. You took us to the top, man. Took us to the top, just like you promised.
When I don't call the show, you come and say, "Ma'am, Nick, you quit the show?" I said, "No. I mean, I just try to listen to other people call in with their boring calls, talking about nothing. Hell, I talk politics. I gold trunk. And for all you people listening to Ryan Fowler Show today, get your ass out there and vote red, vote Trump. Because if you don't, we're all in a world of hurt. You might as well leave the country.
Uh-oh.
I mean, you got to ask yourself common sense, Fowler. If you was better off 4 years ago than today, then go ahead and vote for that idiot Camaro Harris.
Can you name one thing that's better than what it was a few years ago?
No. 4 years ago, everything was better. Okay. My light bill wasn't $292. I was paying $185 a month. Now it's $292.
Well, the insurance is what's killing me. I think every insurance I have is up.
Well, that's great. I mean, it ain't great, but I mean, I feel sorry for you. Our eggs up. Hell, I went to the store today and bought. I just went in and got 2 bags of groceries for $50. 2 little sacks. You know how you go in there, you get $50 for baked potatoes and sweet potatoes, and some salad in a bag.
Well, I gotta get out of here, Bama Nick. But I want to say this right here.
Who's coming up next?
Texas Tony.
Who's coming up next?
Texas Tony.
Oh, T-Town Tony's coming up?
Yeah.
My buddy.
Yeah. But hey, I want to end it with this right here.
I'm going to listen.
Bama Nick, I just want to end it with this right here.
Go ahead on with it, Fowler.
This is a garbage phone call.
All right, now here we go, Fowler. You're starting to piss me off with that comment. I've been calling you.
Obviously, you've not been listening to the news if you didn't get the joke.
Well, you said my call to you was a garbage call. I know what you're talking about. Oh, okay. It just hit me, fella. I've been drinking me some PBRs.
Yeah, this is a garbage phone call. Garbage.
Okay, I got it now. You're right.
It means it's actually a great call, Bama Nick.
Yeah. All right.
I know it is. My calls are always great. That's why I keep y'all the #1 sports talk show in the country.
Yeah, I got you. All
Bar
right.
none.
Yeah. All right. Bama Nick, thanks, man. Appreciate you. Hope you have a great day.
You too, Ryan Fowler and Jackson, and go home and give out that candy to the little trick-or-treaters that come around.
I'm turning my light off. Thanks.
Go, Fowler.
See you
Jackson, turning your light.
I'll be trick-or-treating tonight.
Oh, yeah, he's going out with the ladies. He's looking for all kind of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll dress up in a monkey outfit and pour you one.
I'll have my my Trump suit on.
Oh, do you really?
There you go.
You got one of those?
And there you go.
Is that popular with the ladies, Jackson? Is that
It actually
Jackson,
it actually
tell me about
is.
the lady.
Okay.
They love it.
Well, I mean, the ladies like an alpha. I mean, they don't like the betas.
They like a true leader.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah, that's right. They like the alpha male. Alpha male.
Yeah, I mean,
the white dudes for Harris don't do it.
They're looking for you for.
There you go, Jack. The white dudes for Harris don't do it.
For all the betas out there. You're good as a substitute, but they're looking for something better. They're looking for better options. So if they settle for the beta, they're looking for the alpha. It's just a matter of time.
Well, it's like Trump said at the Al Smith dinner, right? He said, all these ladies whose husbands are voting for Kamala, their boyfriends are voting for me.
Coaches never walk the sidelines. We are talking little Alabama Crimson Tide football, and we are powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com. Final day, buy 3 tires, get that 4th tire for only $1. That service department closes at 6 p.m. If you've not been able to get it now's the final day. And we got some great interest specials, whether 1.99 on the Tundra, the RAV4, 3.99 APR. Rent a Toyota. You can do that at Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com. We are going right back to phone calls, and we go to T-Town. Tony, T-Town, good afternoon. Hope all is well, Tony.
What's up, Fowler?
I'm good, man. I'm just, getting ready to do this Halloween thing.
You don't do the Halloween thing. You're like, get off my lawn.
I cut off the light, but I still got a few.
And lock the gate.
Yeah, I do. I do that too.
Take the dogs out, put them in the front yard, or your dog, and put them in the front yard. I know what you do.
Yeah.
Poor kids. They're just looking for some candy.
Yeah, but I get the dumb kids.
So you live around a bunch of booger eaters?
No, I mean, I'm not saying that disrespectful, but I mean, the neighbors. Well,
So
I guess
you're being
okay.
flattering.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
here,
I live
no.
near the dumb kids, so you live near the rich kids that can't speak. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is if
You
you
probably need to quit saying.
strategically, you must go to a high density neighborhood. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. The town. There'll be 1,000
go to
people in
go to the
towns tonight.
towns. You can work 4 houses. The kids, if you go to our neighborhood, you got walking to do, man. You better not have some of those uncomfortable shoes. So
Well, if people want to know who I am and what I look like,
okay,
I'll be in the town tonight.
Will you really? Okay.
With everyone, yeah.
So,
with
all
everyone
right.
else.
So, like, if you go to the towns, like, what's the popular candy? Like, I mean, are they stingy peppermints? I mean, do you get okay?
No, man. There's good candy out there. I mean, you have them all. I mean, you have, I don't know how many houses are out there and how many people, but no, it's good. Hey, it's an event. If you've never been to Halloween in the towns,
okay,
you're missing out.
Okay.
I'm just telling you. And you're going to have to walk a while because they even have this big parking area for everyone to park in. And then you come into the neighborhood and it's gigantic. It's an event. I mean, there's nothing that compares to it that I've ever been to anywhere.
I wonder if like Nick Saban, he has nothing else to do except hand out candy. Do they pepper his house? I mean, do they?
Well, that's not in the towns.
Okay, but it's close, right? Isn't that at Crown Point?
Well, they live quite a ways from. They don't live near the street.
Okay.
You can't see the house from the street.
Okay.
Over there. So no, there you go. No, they probably have someone out in front, maybe handing candy out, but you're not going to get to the door of the Sabans.
Okay, I didn't know. I
mean, come on now. Let's be reasonable.
Yeah,
let's be reasonable. It's like someone. It's like you. No one's going to get to your door. You're going to have security out there. I mean,
I got the. I mean, you got all kind of.
You're Ryan
booby
Fowler,
traps.
the
Yeah,
award
I got some booby traps, and that.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite places.
Where you been, Tony? Where you been? You gave up on the Tide? You gave up on the Tide? Did you give up on the Tide?
No. Let me just tell you, the Knoxville court system was a lot more difficult than the Nashville municipal court system.
Oh, yeah?
But beat them and cheat them and how. They came through and got me out finally. But I'm telling you, it's been an ordeal. Me and Steve Bannon get out on about the same moment coming out. So, shout out to Steve Bannon. If you don't know who he is, you need to shape up.
Well, they got to get all the felons out to vote.
People.
They got to get those. Those are important votes. Got to count on them.
Well, there's a lot of dead people getting ready to vote too, or have already voted,
I went today.
Hey,
I went today and voted. I said, you know what?
Did you?
Yeah, I just went down.
You just didn't realize it.
Well, no, I went actually. I did. I went down to the courthouse, and today was the final day, so it's already closed, so you can promote it. But I just went down and said,
I didn't think we had early voting in Alabama.
Well, you got to vote for it. It's an absentee, but you in-person absentee ballot. You just go in and tell them you want it. There was lines all the way out the door. Crazy. It's busy.
Really, really. Well, I like being out and voting.
Well, and my wife said the same thing.
I don't want to. Mail-in voting is for those that aren't really voting, or for those that aren't there. I mean, I see you get. You're a celebrity. People don't know what I look like, but people know you. So you need to probably, do something like that or whatever, because you draw crowds.
You just circle the elephant. That's all you got to do. It's real easy.
You cross. That's right. Vote and look.
Yeah, just
vote
look for the elephant. Look for the elephant. So.
Luckily, we live in a state we don't have to worry about that much.
Well, and I know people make fun of us living in the great state of Alabama, but I went through our voter rules. We have a really, if there is such a fair system, we have in our state. You got to be pretty proud of what we've been able to do. Well, we don't have an ID. Okay, good. I'll give you a free one. Well, we don't have this. Okay.
I thought you did have to have.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm pretending to be like the other side. Well, you must have an ID. Well, I don't have an ID. Okay, well, we'll give you one for free. No problem. Okay, yeah. It's all these different rebuttals because it's what it is. But,
there was I was listening to a show or watching a show on TV yesterday, and you know, if you're wasting your time with mainstream media, you need to be watching independent media where the real stuff's coming out. And this one guy said in Pennsylvania, he went in to vote and he offered to show them his ID and they stopped him.
Okay. All right. And you brought that up. My doc showed me a form today. Oregon, Washington, Nevada, California, New Mexico, Minnesota, Illinois, New York, Pennsylvania, Maine, Vermont, Rhode Island. You don't even have to have an ID. How does that work?
Hey, in New York,
I mean, you just
can
walk
vote
in.
as many times as you want.
You just walk in and say, all right, I'm T-Town
right.
Tony. I want to get his ballot.
Right. So the guy who offered to show his ID in LA is like, no, we can't look at that.
So what do you do? I mean, do you just say
they gave a ballot to his 12-year-old daughter?
Oh Lord.
And the mother's like, she's 12. They're like, oh, well, she looked old enough. I mean, anyway, hey, I got a little something here for you. You know what the difference is? I heard you talk about male Harris voters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Men that vote for Kamala.
Well, we think they're men. It could be, you know.
Do you know what the difference is between a vegan and a man that votes for Kamala?
Nothing.
No, not true. A vegan won't put meat in their mouth.
I knew it was going to be something like that.
What's Fowler doing right now? Phyllis Jackson.
He's shaking his head.
I can't even.
The hand went to the mouth.
How red is his face right now?
I can't even. All right. Tony, I've had my work cut out for me this week, though.
Don't you want to know what I'm dressing up as? I mean, I tell you about Halloween. I mean, I'd throw you a softball and you just don't even swing it. But go ahead, you do this.
What are you dressing up as? What are you dressing up as?
Bama Nick.
Are you really?
I am, but I don't know. Wow, my phone's blowing up after my vegans. But anyway, but I don't know what to wear. So what I need for the audience here in the next hour, I need people to tell me what they envision Bama Nick looking like, and what I need to dress up as, what I need to wear, and what will make my outfit perfect for the number one color of the game.
You ever seen Roll
You like
Tide
that
Willie?
idea? You like that plan,
Tony?
I do. I do. I like that. But
hold on,
I mean,
Jackson's talking.
Bama
Fowler.
Nick's got a
Yes,
Facebook
Jackson?
account. I mean, you can.
Yeah,
Roll Tide Willie. Have you ever seen him, Tony? You know what he looks like?
Yeah, I do know who Roll Tide Willie. So is Bama Nick more highbrow or lowbrow?
Tony.
On the Halloween.
Oh, Tony, you. I mean, there's all kind of, like I said, booby trap earlier. I mean, this call's been like full of those little booby traps. You could stumble and lose your job in Tony's call.
Tony's a trap caller.
No.
You just don't react.
Jackson didn't answer. Is it highbrow or lowbrow on Roll Tide Willie if you go in Bama Nick out in the street? I mean, if you're going to dress up, or is it the equivalent? Is it the same?
I would say it's probably more on the same side.
Fowler, you want to step in on this?
I would just go with a unibrow.
Unibrow.
It never stops. It just all goes on.
Hey man, I tell you, he needs to start. He needs a butt cut right there. He needs to split it. He needs to go with the wings.
All right.
The left goes to the left, and right goes to the right. Just make it like a piece of his hair, the haircut part going through. That unibrow is impressive.
All right.
What were you going to say? You're going to say.
I just want to say that I've been. I've worked hard this week. I don't know if people realize this. I've worked hard because the caller after you creates some hard work for me.
Well, that cat Actually, that cat probably hangs out with some of your buddies.
My buddies?
Yeah, you definitely got some haters in your group, too. And I want to commend you on how much you've been supporting Jalen Milroe this week. I think I texted you, and I think you did it last week, too.
I did.
But I want to commend you on that.
It's been hard.
As you know, who loves Jalen Milroe more than me?
This would be Tony in Tuscaloosa.
Right.
This would be
And
Tony in Tuscaloosa. It is.
I'm
what
just,
does Tony
I'm
do
just
when we
out.
lose? We just doesn't call in. He just avoids.
Well, I'm in jail. I'm in jail.
Don't you ever say anything about Jalen Milroe. I'll knock your teeth out.
But, I'm going to tell you this right now, and I already know the answer. And if he isn't truthful about it, you can hear his dialect in his talk and know that the caller behind me might have a GED. Okay? So when Jalen Milroe graduates with a double major in 3 years, and he's in grad school now working on his master's, then he could graduate in that in they said less than 2 years going through. And he's I know of Jackson, and help me out here. I know of at least 2 college football, not Alabama, not SEC, college football records that he owns. When you come in here and trash a quarterback, you might have different ulterior motives.
He needs to go to the pharmacy at Midtown. They'll get him fixed up. The pharmacy at Midtown. TJ Thomas had lunch with TJ yesterday. And
well, good. How was he? I saw him the other day, too. And by the way, man, he is incredible. I mean, I just want to tell people.
And I say this, hard to get medication. It's not just I mean, you and I are on a message with a couple of folks that could not find any local medication. Zero. Where do they find it? The pharmacy at Midtown. TJ Thomas.
I don't know. When you go in and you talk to TJ, you're surrounded by Alabama gear, everything. There is no other pharmacy, I believe, in this state that has more Alabama gear in the pharmacy than the pharmacy at Midtown. We're in Tuscaloosa. We're in the epicenter of UA, correct?
We are.
We're in Titletown. We're in T-Town. Is there anything that compares to his pharmacy, not his office, his pharmacy when it comes to his support of Alabama?
Zero. Yeah.
Zero. It's not even, you can't support. So who else is going to do better than that? Who has a almost Bear Bryant life-size picture when you come in?
Zero.
No one.
Zero.
And he's the best, man. He's the best. If you live anywhere in West Alabama and you're not doing business with him, shame on you.
Yeah. Well, I better not say his name, but somebody else just said TJ is the man. All right, Tony, be good. You got a favorite candy bar? Keep it clean. Never mind. I got to go. Jackson, we'll go to break. We'll continue. I can't do candy bars with Tony. There's too much risk, man. There's just too much. I can't do it. I got to go, Tony. Be good.
Beat him and cheat him, and Hal just sent me a text message and said, do not.
Hey, we welcome you right back into the game here in Tuscaloosa. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports. Alabama's on the practice field earlier today, and now they're going to be done for a couple of days. Going to try to recharge the batteries, take off Friday and Saturday, get back with it on Sunday. That doesn't mean they're taking a day off. It's just no practice there. Trying to get a little, maybe a little healthier than where they've been. The Big Old Buck Hunting Contest is happening right now for all you get out in the woods a little bit early, and you can read more details, Tide109.com. October the 15th through February the 12th. You know what February 12th is, don't you? Abraham Lincoln's birthday. Jackson, you know who else's birthday is February the 12th? Be me. So that's the contest. So it's easy to remember. No registration or entry fee. Antlers must be attached to head, skin for shoulder mount. Hicks Taxidermist is our official sponsor, and we have several. We appreciate those, but they do the SCI scoring method. A great way to get some prizes. If you're looking for more details, You can go right now to Tide109.com, Tide109.com. The Big Old Buck Hunting Contest back again for the second annual. So had a great response last year. People in West Alabama love to get out in the woods. And, hey, let's talk about it. Let's go to Joseph. Joseph, good afternoon. You're in the game. Oh, my Lord. The Lord does love me. The Lord loves me. How about that, Jackson? That's a best news right there I've heard all day. No Joseph. We're not big fans of Joseph. Digger, good afternoon. You're in the game. Hey, Digger. We can't hear you. Anything? No. Jackson, double check that. Is that a? All right. Let's go. Let's go. Corey in Trussville. Corey, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Hey, Ryan, how you doing this afternoon?
Man, I'm great. I hope you're having a great day.
I'm doing great. So let me ask you this,
Corey. But before we get started, I want to see if you'll do something for me.
Okay.
Coach Saban's birthday's today.
Yes.
And I've been holding this out for you all day today. I said Corey's going to be the one that will sing "Happy Birthday" to Coach Saban. Will you join me in helping sing a happy birthday song to Coach Saban?
Sure, I can do that.
Okay. I knew you would. I knew everybody else would be very hesitant. Corey's like, no, I'll step up to the plate. Ready?
Okay.
All right, you start it and I'll join in. Ready?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Coach Saban.
6-time national championship at the University of Alabama. Roll Tide, Coach. Roll Tide.
Now, is he 73? Or?
He is. He's 73. Happy birthday, Coach Saban.
You know, my papa turned 73 back on October 1st.
Okay.
Let me ask you this.
Happy belated birthday to Corey's papa.
I know. If the Alabama LSU game was played this Saturday, would you feel confident in Alabama getting the win?
Say it one more time now.
If the Alabama LSU game was played this Saturday, would you feel confident in Alabama getting the win?
I like it getting a week right here to get healthy, man. We need it. We've had, and it's nothing like, we have some injuries that have cost us, right? I mean, we're still waiting on Cole Adams, the Blue Spring Living Water injury report. Keon Sapp's still going to be out, but, with a foot injury, lower extremity. I like the way Kalen DeBoer describes that. Lower extremity, upper extremity. But those are the injuries that we know about, but there's also a lot of bumps and bruises. It's not like these guys we're not going to play, but it just gives them a chance to get back to 100%.
So the way Heather Dinich was explaining it yesterday, Alabama can't just go 10-2 and expect to be in the playoff. We had to have help as well.
You think we'll get that?
I don't know, man. I mean, you hate to rely on help, but you would think that 10-2 would get us in. But like she said, we need Georgia to win the SEC championship because that would give us a good resume look, and it would also help if Vanderbilt could win some more games because. Starting tomorrow.
Starting Saturday. Yeah, I like where you're going. Go, Corey. Go. Turn loose.
If Tennessee can go.
Well, no. But who's Vanderbilt going to beat? Don't avoid it now. We need to.
Well, okay. Do we need Penn State or
they're playing
Ohio
Auburn?
State?
They're playing Auburn. We want Vanderbilt. Say it after me.
Yeah.
We want Vanderbilt to stomp a mud hole in the Auburn Tigers.
We need Vanderbilt to win tomorrow. Now, as far as the big game Saturday, do we need Penn State or we need Ohio State? Because you can look at it both ways. Ohio State takes 2 losses, or Penn State takes their first loss. And the SEC and the Big Ten's got the chance to get multiple teams in, but I think Oregon's in. I think it's a slam dunk that Oregon gets in. But who else joins them? And then the SEC, if Georgia wins the SEC, they're in. But who else joins Georgia? So if we knock LSU out, they'll be gone. So that leaves either Alabama, Tennessee, or I think that's it. I think you would have either Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee as your 3 teams from the SEC.
Yeah, and so you want the resume to be there. You want a quality loss to be a quality loss. And normally a lot of this stuff works its way out, but we're in a 12-team playoff that we've never seen. We don't know what it takes to get in. What do you do with some of these undefeated mid-majors? You throw them to the curb? We hope. Next Tuesday, I know we're going to be dialed in on the election, Corey. You're going to be watching the election? You'll be watching the election results, right?
Well, because I have to go to work so early in the morning, I may not have time to watch.
Okay. Well, but you know what else you're going to be watching? College football playoffs. Playoff, because that will tell you where they value Alabama coming out of the bye week. Is Alabama a top 10 team? And if they are, then the world's going to melt down because they thought Alabama was gone, right? Buried, gone, as Nick Saban would say.
We need to know where our starting point is.
And if you see them in the top 10, then you feel like, okay, you know what? They went out and they're in.
Well, yeah, because all we'd have to do is win out.
See, I'm like you. I don't want to see Vanderbilt drift.
Yeah, now their schedule is difficult because I think they got Kentucky, Tennessee, and somebody else. I can't remember. But they like you said, we need Vanderbilt to maybe get a couple more wins to make it feel good, because that Vanderbilt loss still stings to me.
No doubt stings, man. It's
in no way in any world should Alabama lose to Vanderbilt, no matter if Vanderbilt's good or not. Yeah, you hate losing to Tennessee, but that's a rivalry game. Vanderbilt is nowhere near on the level of Alabama, and yet we still lost to.
Yeah, and need Georgia continue to win to value. Add value to your big win, because that's your resume booster. That's your top of your line going, hey, we beat these guys, and nobody else has been able to do that except the University of Alabama. Hopefully they go and not just beat LSU, but play good on the road. Look like a team that you did at the early part of the season. So
yeah, because you need good road wins too. This one in Oklahoma. You need good road performances because you can't just look good at home. You need to. This will be Alabama's first road win and probably the most impressive road win because it's in the toughest environment in all of college football.
That's right. All right, Corey, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for wishing Nick Saban a happy birthday. Hopefully he heard it. Sometimes he listens from time to time, so we appreciate it, Coach.
And I always enjoy
don't really know
Tony's
if he listens,
calls.
but it's part of marketing. I was supposed to say that,
I always enjoy Tony's calls. He's the best.
Oh, is he your favorite?
Yes.
Where would Bama Nick be at?
In the middle.
Okay. Who would be second?
Ooh, think. Who's usually the first caller that calls in?
Paul Lincoln. Yeah.
Yes, I love his calls.
You love Paul. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. So you got Tony at the top, Paul second, Bama Nick in the middle. Okay. Corey?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you're our favorite, man, and we appreciate you. Hope you have a great day, man.
You too, Ryan. Roll Tide.
Thank you. Corey in Trustville calling us. We appreciate that. We'll come back. Max in Tupelo. We're coming to you. Coming up. Ooh, I see it. All right, let's go to Max in Tupelo. Max, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
Everything's good, Ryan, except for the weather's terrible here.
Well, we hope.
It's god awful.
Well, I don't want it for the kids, but please send that rain over here. My green fields look like a desert.
Man, it's god awful over here, which, I guess that means I don't have to answer the door every 5 seconds, so that's a good deal.
That's a win, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And my kids are old enough to where they're not trying to trick or treat anyway. They're trying to roll somebody's yard. So when it's wet, they're not going to be able to do that, so they don't get in trouble. So that's good too. But Ryan, this election, it's
a selection or election?
Election. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, no, I was thinking it was a selection. Are you sure it's not a selection?
Oh, it probably is.
Do you trust it?
As much as I love Bama football and college football, I have to put this president over college football. Like, this is more important because, hell, we may not have college football, or if we do, it's going to be a shell of itself. It'll be something we've never recognized before in our life.
We might not be able to afford it.
Well, that, and it may turn into who knows? They could be, everybody's uniforms could be lingerie. This is important, man. It's the most important election of mine in your lifetime, without a doubt, because we're about the same age.
Well, Kamala's a really good candidate.
Yeah, she's dumb as a box of beat flagpoles, sponsored by Midtown.
The Pharmacy at Midtown with TJ Thomas. TJ Thomas, The Pharmacy at Midtown.
Yeah.
TJ's getting a lot of plugs this 5 o'clock hour. So,
yeah.
Max, I want to go back. No, I agree with you. Listen, anybody that could look at the last 4 years and say that this bunch has done a really good job, you need a psychiatrist and a preacher. One to ask for forgiveness and one to get you straightened back in the right direction. Preacher and a psychologist.
Is the preacher that's pulling on the jug, though? Is that the one you need?
On the jug?
Yeah, pulling on that jug, that moonshine jug.
Oh, no, I was saying if you do vote for her, you need a preacher and a psychologist. Yeah. One to ask for forgiveness and one to get you headed back in the right direction. You're going to get you back,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but I was talking, you may be needing to talk to the one that's pulling on the moonshine jug if you vote for them.
Could be. I want to go back. Last week, we took the Missouri scores.
Yeah.
You remember what you picked?
Not exactly.
Well, you won, so it doesn't matter. 34-10. 34-10. You were the closest. Roll Tide.
Okay. All right, roll Tide, man.
Roll Tide. Roll Tide. Roll Tide.
Dude, where we're sitting right now, if we win out, like, you're going to have a traffic jam of 10-2 teams, I'm afraid. And so we got to get as many of those guys out of the way. So, like, obviously we need to be a South Carolina fan this weekend for sure. Right?
Okay.
But then do you want Texas to lose one to Texas A&M, or do you want, and as bad as I would hate to, for Texas?
Here's your scenario, okay, Max? And I've been thinking about this, and you start doing elimination, okay? What you want is South Carolina to beat Texas A&M.
Yeah,
and then you kind of want Texas to get beat by Texas A&M. Get everybody with a blemish.
Yeah,
but then you got
10-2.
Well, and then you got Texas A&M that would have 10-2. But you already got Texas A&M. To me, the South Carolina comparison, because you don't play them, you had to do some common opponents. So you would look at that, and then you could also, I guess, look at that LSU. But the Missouri game, they had a really good game there. Texas A&M has been a really good football team. But hey, you beat LSU, that takes care of them. Move them out. And then hopefully Georgia continues to win. But you need to try to find a way to clean up one of these, because I think 4 is your number from the SEC. I think 1 automatic and 3 at large out of the 7. But you also need to.
You think we get 4?
I do. I mean, I think we're that good. I mean, I think the SEC, and I think you're looking.
I just don't know if the rest of the country will do it.
Looking through that roster of college football playoff committee members, you have a lot of former coaches, man. A lot of former coaches.
Yeah. All right, so here's my other one. It would be nice to see Vanderbilt take down Tennessee, because if we're in a tie with Tennessee,
what does that do though? That hurts you. So
no, it doesn't.
Well,
because that would be Tennessee's third loss.
Oh, but you're saying the 10-2, but it also hurts you because Tennessee beat you. So you need that somewhat to stay quality.
But if they lose to Georgia and Vanderbilt beats them, that's 3 losses for Tennessee, so it doesn't matter.
That'd be a rough weekend, man, to go in that final weekend against Vanderbilt. Maybe Texas could lose to Arkansas and turn around and beat Texas A&M. I mean, there's a lot of different scenarios that you can make.
That's kind of why I hated that they got rid of divisions, man.
Why did we go lose at Vanderbilt? Why did we go lose at Vanderbilt, Max? Why?
Well, I mean, I could give you the actual physical reasons, but I'm with you in my heart. Why in the hell did we lose at Vanderbilt?
Because if you don't lose that one, then I mean, the Tennessee loss doesn't hurt as bad. I mean, it hurts, but it doesn't hurt as bad with a 12-team playoff. But listen, I still think if you go and win out, you're in. You're in. Hey, listen, Max, I got to go, man. I appreciate you. And
we got to have Arkansas beat Ole Miss, too. That gets another 10-2 possibility out of the way.
Yeah, but Ole Miss is going to take a loss against Georgia, so you kind of,
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, that solidifies it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but knowing our luck, Ole Miss would get beat by Arkansas and in turn on beat Georgia. You don't want that to happen. So,
yeah,
I mean, you kind of
right
want them you want them to kind of have some momentum a little bit, and then let Georgia punch them in the mouth, and boom. And Ole Miss, they had themselves pretty much like a lock to this playoffs. And now here we are. Hey, man, I appreciate you, Max. I got to run.
Roll Tide, buddy.
Hey, right back to you. We'll continue with more of the game. Tide. Oh, I'm sorry. Whoa, I was about to end the show. I was about to send it to break. Jackson put a stop sign up, said, no. My bad. Tommy and Romulus. Tommy, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Hey, Ron, how are you?
Good.
We got to change some of the rules to this show. For Halloween, we do not give out miniatures to children, okay? They might do it in other states, but we don't do it here in Alabama, okay? And to hire a choir of the Mormon Tabernacle Choir to sing happy birthday to the football coaches next year. Get a 2-for-1 deal. October the 24th for Caleb DuBois, and today for Nick Saban. Because y'all have drove up some spirits from I don't know where y'all singing, so
You don't think Corey and I hit every tune? No? Every note? You don't think we did?
No, the bucket did, but y'all didn't. Like I said, carry a tune in a bucket. The bucket did.
Tommy, that's one of the meanest things you've ever said to me.
Well, thank you. Well, every time you pay me a compliment, bad things happen in Alabama. I wish you quit paying me compliments.
I mean, I thought we were singing good to Nick Saban. It was in the joyful noise. I mean, we wanted to wish Coach Saban a happy birthday, and the only way that I know how we can do it is
lip sync.
Okay. Tommy, if your kid knocks on your door today, what's he going to get?
He's going to get the COVID ghost sign.
Oh, what do you got? Poison here or what? What do you?
Well, no, I had to put mom in the hospital yesterday. He got COVID bad.
Is he really?
Yes. Been fighting it for 11 days. I don't want to say this on the radio, but I threw a fit last night.
We're at the hospital?
Yes, I did. Somebody said something to me like, well, we busy out here. I said, yeah, my damn back been sitting against this wall for 5 freaking hours. I like some answers. I've seen 5 different doctors the last 5 days. I've been to emergency care. I've been this place. I've been to a regular doctor. Y'all get your heads together and solve this freaking problem.
Is he feeling any better?
Well, I went out there today while I'm home. They had a thing on his door saying he had COVID. They said, oh, you can see him. I said, no, I got over it the first of the month. Everybody said, you sound awful. I went, no, I sound nasally. I'm a whole lot better than I was 2-3 weeks ago. But Wyman's weak. Wyman's sicker than he ever been in his life. I mean, he's in bad shape. I mean, I told him, y'all get your act together. My time is just a valuable.
Tommy, he doesn't have pneumonia, does he?
They thought he did, but a small case. But see, I can't get an answer. I get 5 different answers. That's when I threw my fit, kind of like, well, we busy out here. I said, so the hell am I? I don't want to spend the last 48 hours or less than 41 hours in a doctor's office and getting some dumbass answers.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ripping, but yeah.
Well, I will certainly be praying for your brother, man. I hate to hear that.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of worried. So, I went to the store. I got fussed up for doing that, so I had to get something to eat. I am locked down for the next 3 or 4 days. Y'all won't see me unless my brother calls me. I am staying inside. I hope everybody have a happy Halloween.
Okay.
But don't come to my house.
All right. I can understand, Tommy. Hang in there, man.
All right. Talk to you later.
Right back to you. Let's go to Ellis in Manchester, Tennessee. What in the world? What is this falling from the sky? What?
I don't know.
Hold on a minute. I got to go outside. What is this?
That's rain.
What is it, Ryan?
It's rain, baby. We hadn't had
It's
rain.
Woo!
Rain.
It's rain.
It's rain. You already voted, Ellis?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I voted early. We're one of the states that get to vote early.
Did you have to show your ID?
Yes.
Okay. So you're a state that, I mean, I can't imagine walking in and not being able to show an identification card. I can walk in and say, well, I'm Ellis. I'm Ellis from Manchester, Tennessee. Okay, well, here's your ballot.
Yeah, here's your ballot. What state is that? You was telling Tony it was.
Oh, there was a bunch. It wasn't just one. There was a bunch of them.
Mm-mm-mm. That's the cheater states, too, right there. They're probably the states that let dead people vote, too, right? Correct?
There's probably a few of them. That do. So, I mean, you'd think that we can put a plastic piece in your body and, breathe for you. You can create an artificial heart, but we can't master the voting system.
Don't understand it. Well, you see where there was like two ballot boxes that was on fire. Another ballot box fell off a truck. It's just it's the way it's going to be.
That's right. Ellis,
my best thing about Nick Saban is when he stood up there at the podium and tapped that finger on the podium.
Oh, yeah. And you know who else does that?
No.
Kalen DeBoer. Listen to him.
Does he really?
He does. I mean, that gets to popping. It'll get to popping. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it does.
That was one of my best things when he'd sit up there and do that.
All right.
And he'd get loud, too.
We got to run, Ellis. I think Jackson's giving me a sign right here, man. I appreciate you.
All right, I believe, Brian Fuller.
In the election or LSU?
Not the election, but I believe in Alabama.
Okay. All right, thanks, man. Jackson, I got to get out of here. Am I close? No, I have I got 2 minutes. All right, let's go to Rocket Man. Rocket Man, Huntsville. Rocket Man, let it rip, man.
Ryan, a couple of things. Corey's my favorite number one caller.
I mean, he's only brave enough to run in here and sing happy birthday to Nick Saban. Never even question himself. Just said,
well, he's analytical, and I love hearing his analysis.
Me too.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing, how did you vote early? Ballot mail-in?
No, I just went down to the county courthouse and went down to the board of electors or circuit clerk. I think her lady was Miss Bobo, I think's what her name was. Anyway, those individual names, probate, whatever. I went in straight. There was a big line. I knew where it was busy. I walked in, said, "Hey, can I get an absentee ballot?" And she said, "Yeah, do you meet these qualifications?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And I showed my identification card. I know that was racist, but I showed my identification card, and she gave me a ballot.
She, they, them. Anyway,
I
know you're closing.
Yeah, I don't know her pronouns, but yeah, she gave me.
I talked to a pollster or whoever runs the polls here, but he said that Alabama does not have early voting.
Well, you vote absentee, but you vote in present absentee. And Lord, I bet
in present, gotcha.
But today was the deadline. Okay. So
last thing, and I appreciate your closing statements here in a minute that you're about to say, but the most important day to Protestants was 1517 on October the 31st, Martin Luther.
Wow. Great reminder.
Yeah.
Hey, Rocky, man. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. We want to thank our law enforcement officers, EMTs, firefighters, first responders, highway patrol. We thank you. We appreciate you. We remind you that we call this program The Game, and the only way that you win a big game.